Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Friday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically get into all things going on in celebrity news and pop culture and, whatever's trending on social media. So if that is a show for you, please be sure to stick around. And also, if you can, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. So, I also hope you guys had an awesome Christmas. I did have a pretty good Christmas. I got a lot of gifts. We'll get into that in a second. But first, we got a lot of tea we're going to be spilling today. I mean, it's a slow news day, but there were some interesting topics that came out. And plus, if there's anything y'all want to chit chat about, off the topic type stuff, y'all could definitely throw that up in the chat as well. But we're going to talk about Wicked. It's got a digital release date and it's coming this month, yeah. So right before the end of the new year, y'all could be watching Wicked at home. And for those of you who didn't go see it in the theater, and there's also, I'm going to let you guys know what also comes with the bonus features and things. So I got some bad news for you, the Batman fans, as the movie's been delayed. I'm going to let you guys know a little secret in on that. Plus, I'm a windmill a bit, or probably a lot of bit, on the Sony Pictures CEO, who is out here saying that the reason why Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter and some of their other Spider-Man multiverse movies without Spider-Man in it has not been successful is because it's not because they were over there making shitty movies. It's our fault. Apparently, those of us who went and saw it and didn't like it, we're the ones who are at fault for these movies being crap. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, I got some awesome news for a movie that came out on Netflix by the name of Carry On. Now, speaking of Netflix, we're going to get into this BeyoncéBowl that happened over on the 25th. I'm going to give my overall thoughts and plus how well it did in the ratings and how much the Queen Bee was paid to perform on Christmas. So we're gonna talk about that. Plus, while Beyonce out here living her best life, giving her standard performances, we got some not so great news for her husband Jay-Z. So we'll get into that. Plus, there's this video that was going viral regarding Wendy Williams and the fact that she was out here cussing out her damn caretakers. That was a cackle. So we're gonna get into that. I got the clip, so we're gonna talk about that and all that good stuff. Plus, remember Geoffrey Owens, who played on the Cosby Show, and apparently somebody spilled all his tea with somebody that he was working over there at Trader Joe's and thought they was eating by trying to expose him, and he had to quit. And then all the other stuff. So apparently he's saying that since then, he's still out here struggling to make ends meet. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Britney Spears had a great Christmas too, as she reunited with one of her sons for the Christmas holiday. And then we're going to talk about a drag race winner who actually won Strictly Come Dancing, which is basically Dancing with the Stars, but it's the British version. And I'm going to say this before people try to come for me. Strictly Come Dancing was created long before there was a Dancing with the Stars. So that's the original Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars went and changed the name, but took the concept. But a drag queen from Drag Race actually won the thing over there. And people are saying that they feel like her win could take the show in a different direction. And she's shutting that down. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, speaking of this, I had this clip. I was sitting on this one actually for about a week. Derek Hough and Mark Ballas did a man-on-man performance, a same-sex tango over on Dance with the Stars. And apparently they're saying that they hope that while Tayce is not trying to make no changes, Mark Ballas and Derek Hough are trying to make changes over there at Dancing with the Stars and said that we need more same-sex dance performances over on Dancing with the Stars. So we're going to talk about that because I was sitting on this one. I didn't feel like it was fitting in with the narrative of the show. But since this whole Tayce story came out, I was like, you know what? It fits in with the narrative. So I had to bring this up. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So as I stated before, if you can, please hit the like button and that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm trying to slow down because sometimes I be talking fast and the people be up here like, you talk too fast. It's a New York thing. We all talk with speed. We try to fit a whole lot of words under one breath and then go on to the next thing. So it's all about, we were connoisseurs. We were Smiths over here on the East Coast. But anyway, let me hit my banner. And I saw that Onyx had posted something before I even came on the line, said happy Friday and belated holidays. Beyonce continues to prove why she's the greatest pop star of the 21st century. I'll give her that, but y'all probably gonna be mad at me over my review of that performance. But it's fine. We all allowed to have differences of opinion. But we're gonna talk about it later on when we get to it. But without further ado, let's get into our first topic, which it looks like Wicked is coming to home video sooner rather than later, because according to reports, Universal's Wicked, which will fly past the $400 million mark this week at the domestic box office, is going to be released digitally on December 31st. So New Year's Eve. So for those of you who are interested in bringing in the new year, or ringing in the new year, I should say, with Wicked, you can definitely head over to any digital platform, and I'm going to tell you which ones in a second, and get your copy. So, according to Variety, it says smash hit musical movie Wicked is flying into homes this New Year's Eve with a load of deleted scenes, commentary, and other extras. Now, following its theatrical run, the Universal Pictures film starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande will be available exclusively for purchase or rent on December 31st, 2024, on major digital platforms. Now, bonus content in the digital release includes a sing-along version, plus a 40-minute journey through Oz that celebrates the film's transformative on-screen magic and other material. Now, in the US, Wicked will be available for digital retailers nationwide, including, which is where I pretty much buy a lot of my stuff. I get it off of Amazon Prime Video. I also tend to buy stuff on YouTube too, but lately, since I'm much bigger on the whole Amazon Prime thing, I've been doing a lot of my digital releases there. So it says Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Fandango at Home, formerly Vudu, Comcast Xfinity, Cox, and Microsoft Movies and TV. Now, Wicked will also debut on 4K UHD, Blu-ray, and DVD on February 4th, 2025. So if you want to be able to get all the digital copy or the copy where you get to have it on Blu-ray and physical, you got to wait till February. But before then, they want to get them digital things locked in, because a lot of people do buy digital. I tend to buy digital. I'm not really big on physical media anymore. And actually, I was one of those people, and based off of this commentary, see, this is why I have to give it up to Universal, because one of the things I've always been saying about when it comes to physical media is that at least they go hard. They're going hard with this whole Wicked situation, and they're putting so much stuff on there for people to buy, versus like when you usually buy discs or whatever, they don't really give you all the commentary. They don't give you like a sing-along. Not saying that every movie needs a sing-along version, only the musicals, but when it comes down to something, like I want the extra bells and whistles and pompous circumstances, especially if it's a movie that I absolutely love. I want to be able to go, because when I used to buy physical media, I used to love buying the DVDs because I had like, oh, let's give us behind the scenes, deleted sequences, like you give us a tour of the set and how y'all put the whole thing together. So I've always been fascinated by that, which is why I went to film school, is because I was always fascinated with the art of movie making. How do they put these things together? How do they go in the room and they come up with the idea, and then they write the script and they come up with everything? So I've always been interested in that aspect, which is something maybe that CEO over at Sony should have been doing before he was running around here trying to blame everybody but themselves on why they was releasing crappy movies over in the Spider-Man universe that doesn't even have Spider-Man in it. But I don't want to windmill on him too much. I'll probably be throwing little drops of shade in between each segment before I get to it. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, we definitely gonna be talking about that one coming up. Um, so basically, I'm gonna give you all a full rundown. I'm gonna say why the picture wasn't working, of what you can expect to get. And it's funny because the movie came out in like November, and um already it's coming out at the end of December. So I'm like, y'all wasn't even in the theaters long enough. Y'all were like what, 41 days? But it made enough money, so I guess they don't feel any kind of, it doesn't hurt for them to release it. So basically it says like they get the sing-along alternative feature length version. Basically you get deleted and extended scenes, which would be what is that? Fanny and Shen Shen meet Glinda. Shiz Gazette introduces Fiero. And then you get the Toss Toss, which is Glinda teaches Elphaba the art of Toss Toss with mixed results. Then you get Elphaba and Fiyero in the forest, Elphaba's promise, train platform farewell. So you get, and then Bach and Elphaba. Well, that's the man that Ariana Grande cheated with that was married. That's who Bach is. And Elphaba taught. And then you get in the Emerald City. Then they got The Making of Wicked Return to Oz, Welcome to Shiz, A Wicked Legacy, The Wonderful Wizard, an in-depth look at the infamous Wizard of Oz and the wizard himself, Jeff Goldblum. You get feature commentary with John M. Chu and feature commentary with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. So basically, you're getting all that stuff, all the bells and whistles, and you get to enjoy all the things that you love about the film. Plus, I love the idea that, you know what? Y'all can sing in the confines off key in your own house to Popular, Defying Gravity, and all the other songs in between. So y'all can sit up in there trying to think that y'all could be hitting them Ariana Grande notes when you basically out here sounding like a mixture of Kim Kardashian and Julia Fox and live your best life. But you ain't got to do it in the theater, which is great. So this may be around the time, because I told you I was not going to the movies to see Wicked. But now that it's going to be released on digital, my skeptical side, I'm still, a little hesitant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rent it, but to be cheaper, because I guarantee you the price for that. They didn't even tell what the price is. The price for this damn movie is probably going to be $25 versus the rental, which will probably be 20. So I'll just rent it. If I like it, then I'll buy it. But for the most part, there you have it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? You excited to get your hands on Wicked in 4 days over on, digital release? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Cynthia Erivo, Magical Mermaid says Cynthia Erivo will finally be a household name. Love it, a genuine talent. Well, hopefully, we'll see if she'll be able to parlay this career beyond, Wicked. She was amazing in Bad Times at the El Royale. Excuse me, a movie I did not see, by the way. Maybe I need to check that out. I mean, I've heard about it, but I never got around to watching it. Okay, so let's move on to this news, and we got some unfortunate Batman news. So it looks like moviegoers are going to have to wait a little bit longer to return to Gotham City, as Matt Reeves' follow-up to the Batman has been pushed back until 2027. Now, according to Variety, it says the superhero sequel was originally supposed to open on October 2nd, 2026, but will now shift a year and open on October 1st, 2027 in IMAX. Warner Brothers announced today, which is Friday. And so instead, what they're doing is they're going to put in this Alejandro González Iñárritu and Tom Cruise movie in its place. I don't even know what the hell the movie's about, but apparently that is the movie that's going to be in there. And funny enough, I'm glad the universe must have heard me, because Robert Pattinson was cast in the new Christopher Nolan movie, The Odyssey, which they're supposed to start shooting that next month. Next month? I don't know if it's next month, but I know it's early 2025. So I was like, okay, so if Robert Pattinson is in this big epic movie with Christopher Nolan, then what's going on with the Batman 2? Wouldn't he be gearing up to start shooting that for that to come out in 2026? Well, apparently I got my answer, because this morning, like I said, they announced that the Batman sequel is being moved a year. Now, I'm already pissed because I'm like, when did the first Batman come out? It had to be like 2 years ago. What year are we in? 2020? Yeah, it was like, wasn't it like 2023 when that movie came out? So we got to wait I got to wait till 2027. I got to wait 2 more years. Like what? And I'm already, especially when we had the Batman, I absolutely loved. I loved The Penguin. The Penguin is such a good show. If people have not gotten around to watching it, I don't know what the hell's wrong with y'all. Y'all need to get into watching The Penguin. It's such an awesome cinematic television. Get on it today. I implore you. But this doesn't make sense to me. Like I was like, what's up with the delay? But anyway, let's see what the rest of the article said. So now It says Warner Brothers made some additional tweaks in its upcoming release slates, swapping the opening of Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17, a movie. I'm like, what the hell's been going on with that? I've been hearing so many things about Mickey 17, but I'm like, okay, so when is it getting released? So they said, yeah, they swapped the opening of Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17 and Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Now Mickey 17 will star, which stars Pattinson, by the way, will open on March 7th, 2025, while Sinners, which reteams Coogler with his Black Panther and Fruitville Station star Michael B. Jordan, is now shifting back to April 18th, 2025. So they done swapped the dates. The Cruz and Iñárritu film is shrouded in secrecy, but according to the official logline, the Warner Brothers release, it follows the most powerful man in the world as he embarks on a frantic mission to prove he is humanity's savior before the disaster he's unleashed destroys everything. The all-star cast includes Sandra Hüller, John Goodman, Michael Stuhlbarg, Jesse Plemons, Sophie Wilde, and my future husband, Riz Ahmed. Now, it's a change of pace for Cruz, who has been busy saving the world in more conventional action films like Mission Impossible and Top Gun Maverick. Iñárritu is a two-time Oscar winner whose credits include Birdman and The Revenant. The pairing seems like a throwback to Cruz's earlier career as he teamed up with A-list auteurs like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, Oliver Stone, and Paul Thomas Anderson. And I feel like I've been hearing a lot of rumors about that in regards of Tom Cruise, that he's been interested in kind of going back into being taken serious as an actor. He wasn't like him before, that he was seen as, so like he got into this whole action hero bag. But let's be honest, I don't care how many times you worship at the altar of Xenu, sir, you were in your 60s, and there's only so many years you got in you, good years you got in you before you start to feel pain in them knees and all your other body parts, where you got to get up in here and start doing more. You got to act. You can't be up here just trying to, hold on to the whole action hero thing. And Tom Cruise is great at the whole action hero stuff. Like, I love when he goes out and does all his stunts. That's great. But there's only a certain amount of time. You only got so much time left before you can, you got to hang it up as Ethan Hunt in doing those type of stuff. So now they also said that Mickey 17 follows a man, Pattinson, whose job is to die for a living. The cast includes Mark Ruffalo, Naomi Ackie, Stephen Yeun, and Toni Collette. The film has several release date shifts, and was originally intended to hit theaters in spring of 2024. That's why I said I've been hearing so much about Mickey 17. They keep changing the damn date. I just wish y'all released the damn thing already, but now we got a release date. Hopefully they honor it. And Sinners is a horror film that features Jordan as twin brothers who return home to find an even greater evil. The ensemble also includes Haley Steinfeld, Jack O'Connell, Wunmi Mosaku, Jamie Lawson, Omar Miller, and Delroy Lindo, who I believe is supposed to be in Blade, but at least he's in a black vampire movie. That's not Blade. Now, shifting the date of Sinners is partly due to a shortage of post-production facilities that help put the finishing touches on the movie. Sinners was shot on film, which exacerbated those issues. Now, the Batman debut. Okay, so the Batman came out in 2022, because I was like, what year did that come out? So we have to wait 5 years between films for this to come out. I said, in the meantime, y'all need to write scripts for Batman 2 and 3, because these gaps, that's a lot, especially for the DCU, which I know that Matt Reeves' Batman universe is vastly different than what James Gunn is supposed to be setting up for his Batman universe. Because we still haven't gotten the Brave and the Bold yet, and I'm hoping that they figure that out. I did hear rumors that people were talking about that they wanted Robert Pattinson to play the Batman in the Brave and the Bold, which I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna do that when he is kind of in a separate type of multiverse of Batman, which is they've grounded his Batman to make it feel like, oh, these characters, these criminals, all these other things, like giving it kind of this Sopranos vibe, where it's like these people could exist in the real world. If you're doing something with James Gunn is doing. James Gunn is taking more of this superhero approach, where it's like a Superman and these metahumans and all this other stuff exist in that world. That the tone, the color palette, the energy is vastly different. So Robert Pattinson, in my opinion, would not work in that universe. They're gonna have to find another man to play that Batman. I don't know who. I've heard some people say Alan Rickson from Reacher. Physically, he looks the part. I don't know if he could pull off playing Bruce Wayne and Batman. That is to be determined. But I like him on Reacher. Now, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who they're gonna pick, but if y'all have any ideas of who you think would make a great Batman, maybe Jake Gyllenhaal. I've always liked Jake Gyllenhaal. I've heard didn't he actually audition once upon a time to play Batman? I would like to see him play Batman, but I don't know. I mean, he's full on muscle now. He doesn't really do much acting. I mean, the last thing I saw him in, well, besides Presumed Innocent over on Apple TV, the last thing I saw him in was Roadhouse, and I actually liked him in that movie. So, yeah, so basically said the Batman debuted in 2022, but just as the movie business was shaking off the impact of COVID closures, it earned more than 770 million globally and was praised for its moody, atmospheric take on the title character. The film also inspired an HBO spinoff, which I just told about, The Penguin. Now, Zoe Kravitz, who appeared as Catwoman, Reeves said that he was finishing the script for a sequel plan to be shooting next year. So I don't even know when they're going to begin shooting. So now I guess they have to wait until, I don't know how big Robert Pattinson's role is in the Odyssey, but we'll have to wait. I guess we got to wait and see. Maybe Matt Reeves is making tweaks to the script. Maybe he's got new ideas and he's changing things up. Things are delayed. They got to do the, scouting of locations. I don't know what the issue is over there. I just hope they get it together. I just know for me personally, as a Batman fan, I'm irritated that I have to wait, God forbid, 2 more years, because we're going to 25, 26, 26, yeah, 2 more years. Because, yeah, this year is up, like, literally in, what, 5 days? 4 days? So yeah, I'm a bit irritated as a Batman fan. I'm in my selfish bag right now. Like, I'm just annoyed that I have to wait 2 years for this movie to come out in October of 2027. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you just as pissed as I am that we gotta wait 2 damn more years after the movie came out 5 years ago? Damn near. Well, it's actually 2022, right? So we're in 2024, so that's 2 years, but we're gonna have to wait. By the time the new movie comes out, it's gonna be 5 years since the original release. So I guess I'm just gonna have to continue to watch the Batman over and over again and watch episodes of the Penguin just to quench my mood for this new movie to get the release. But you know what? It is what it is. I just hope that I trust in Matt Reeves that we're going to get a good film, but I'm just annoyed that I got to wait damn near 5 years for this new movie. So I say, I'll just say, whatever your thoughts are on this, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let's see. Are you saying one of my favorite movies that year? Almost 5 years since the first movie. Will people still care? Well, we'll see. But yeah, that is a long time. He is award. Well, yeah, I did. He is award winning. He has 2 Oscars. The studio waited too long to decide talent contracts. Well, they need to figure that stuff out on time. Plus, you remember the writer's strike. Well, yeah, there was that. He only cared about the box office. Leonardo proves you can make box office hits and be taken seriously. He didn't win the Oscar, did he? I think they was trying to push him. Did he? Oh wait, no. Leonardo DiCaprio never won an Oscar. I know he was trying to get it for The Revenant, and they was really thinking that he was going to be a shoo-in. Um, oh, you said Jake Gyllenhaal too? Bill Skarsgård as Batman, maybe for me. I don't know. We'd have to say. I know. Well, I think Bill Skarsgård is capable of doing action. I mean, he's tall. He's got that really sexy bottom lip. um, Even though The Crow is terrible, it's good. It shows that he could do action. There was that other movie. Damn, I can't remember the name of it. That was on. What was it? Boy Kills World. He wasn't bad in that. We could definitely see that he could pull off action, but there were parts that I thought was funny because it's like, you see, as tall as he is, he kind of had to like limit his movements because it was like just the lengthiness of him. You can see like he was holding back a bit when it came to like certain fight sequences. So I like Bill Skarsgård, but I don't know if I could see him as that. Probably because he's been playing all these weird, creepy characters, especially like in Nosferatu, which I'm hearing is getting mixed reviews. I do want to see Nosferatu, but yeah, everybody's saying like they were kind of disappointed. But I'm gonna still check it out. Pandemic time sell all of life back. Well, yeah, it was like pandemic. This whole pandemic did delay things. Also, the writer's strike. So hopefully they get it together. Oh, so he did win? I don't, child, I can never remember who win these awards. It's like, I remember that year, once what I do is out of sight, out of mind, we moved on. So he does have an Oscar. I didn't even know he did. Maybe that's why he's not acting anymore. He's busy around here chasing 24-year-olds on yachts. I was like, I'm 50 years old. I'd rather just chase around a bunch of underage girls. Well, they're not underage, but barely legals. All right, let's get into this foolishness. So I saw this article and I was like, child, I got to come in and we got to talk about it. So y'all already know, because we talked about Kraven the Hunter on the show. We've talked about Madam Web. We talked about Morbius. We talked about all the shitty movies that have come out of the Sony Spider-Man multiverse, which none of the movies have Spider-Man in it, but they feel like we got to mention Spider-Man just so y'all know that there's some sort of connection, which there was never any connection. But they think just mentioning Spider-Man and Peter Parker, then that's enough because the IP of Spider-Man is pretty much in between Marvel and Sony, and they got their own little thing going on with Tom Holland. I know it's a lot. I'm irritated by it, but that's their thing, and that's what it is. So, instead of the CEO, and it's funny how CEOs seem to be the ongoing thing now between the one that was over at that United Healthcare mess, and now we got this clueless CEO over here making these comments, and it's like, you know what, with these type of comments, this is why y'all will continue to lose money at the box office because of stupidity that comes out of these people's mouths. So Tony Vinciquerra, who is the CEO at Sony Pictures, instead of him saying, you know what, maybe Kraven didn't work because we didn't really value the source material. We really didn't hire people who understood the lore of a Kraven the Hunter or a Madam Web or a Morbius. Or maybe that you can't take villains that you need Spider-Man to go up against and turn them into anti-heroes slash heroes. What are they like? You can't create an IP or or a franchise off of a person who is a a Spider-Man villain or an anti-hero, whatever the hell you want to call it, and give them their own little movie, and people are just going to show up, especially if you're not really putting people who understand how this whole world works. Maybe we did something bad. Maybe we need to look at the drawing board and figure out what we need to do to get butts back in seats and the trust of the audience to come in and see what we're doing, that we actually care about the audience. We care about these IPs, and we want to give you a good film. But why would he do that? Instead, these movies come out, they put out shitty films. We go and see it because we don't have the control of what's going on in the studios. We're not the ones who's making the executive decisions. All we as a public can do is when these movies come out, we go to the theater, we go and watch it. And then if we watch it, we either like it or we don't. And I'm sure there's people out there, God bless you if you do, that like Madam Web, that like Morbius, that like all the Venom movies. I don't like any of them. I don't like Madam Web. I did not like Venom. I was like, and I've said this before, Tom Hardy's performance as Eddie in the Venom, on point. Nobody's taking that away from him. Like, he could, first of all, him and Aaron Taylor Johnson, two actors who literally can step in any film, regardless of how bad it is, and make it work. I'm not going to take away from them because that's how good of an actor that they are. But when they're in a movie that's just trash and they're the only one who showed up and clocked in and came to do what needed to be done, cashed their check and went the fuck home, I can't blame them too much. I'm blaming the CEOs because that's not their fault. They just came in to do the job that was required of them, and then they just went about their business. Now, all the other moving parts behind the scenes, that's up to the director, the screenwriter, the CEOs who made the decision to give the money, the budget, and was like, okay, this script is good, let's get it going. And when they do all of that, then that's great. But here's the thing. Now, he went and said that instead of taking it all their fault, it's our fault. Critics and those of y'all at home that went to see this movie and hated it, it's your fault, it's our fault, because I guess I'm included in that when I give my reviews of movies, that these movies flopped. So Vincent Chiera recently told the LA Times that Kraven the Hunter is probably the worst launch we had in the nearly 8 years he's been in the studio, adding, I still don't understand because the film is not a bad film. Really? Did you actually watch it? Now, Kraven opened in theaters on December 13th to a paltry $11 million, the lowest debut yet for a Sony-released Marvel movie. The movie's current domestic box office total stands at just $18 million. Damn. With its global haul is $43 million. Now, did it say what the budget was for this film? Because I believe that Kraven's budget is about $100 million. And so far, this is bad. Like, you only brought in so far $43 million globally. In America, you only made $18 million. So in 2 weeks, your box office was $7 million on week 2, and it had a huge, significant drop at the box office. And it's critics' fault? So they said these are more or less catastrophic results for a Superman movie to cap off a lackluster year for Sony comic book movies after Madam Web flopped with $100 million worldwide and Venom: The Last Dance becoming the franchise's lowest growing entry. Now, I will say this: Venom: The Last Dance did make money. It turned a profit, I guess. It crossed over to about $400 million. So good on them, even though it was the lowest number. And you could definitely see at this point that while Tom Hardy definitely does his thing as Venom and Eddie, the Venom movies as a whole are not great. I've never thought that, in my opinion, any of those movies are great. I know some people but I had a great time with the character. And that's great. You can go on this journey and have a great time with the character, but the movies as a whole are just not good outside of Tom Hardy's performance in those movies. So it says, let's just touch on Madam Web for a moment. Now, Vincent Chiara said, Madam Web underperformed in the theaters because the press just crucified it. It was not a bad film, and it did great on Netflix. For some reason, the press decided that they didn't want us to making these films out of Kraven and Madam Web, and the critics just destroyed them. They also did it with Venom, but the audience loved Venom and made Venom a massive hit. These are not terrible films. They were just destroyed by the critics and the press for some reason. Now, if Out of Touch was a person, it would be this Vincent Chiara guy. Because I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. Let's put his damn picture up so y'all know who the hell I'm talking about. This old Out of Touch heifer. Yeah, there he is. Why he look like Bob Chapek? Like, they all got a distinct look over there at, well, and Bob Chapek been fired. But also, I'm hearing that this guy is actually on his way out. So maybe this is why he's saying all this, because you know what? He's been putting out a lot of shitty movies. He was the one that was greenlighting a lot of these bad movies, not probably understanding how these things work. And this is what irritates me about these movies, that the movies are not being created by artists anymore. It's being greenlit and pushed through by shareholders, people who think that, oh, all they care about is their little bottom line, their money, and their bonuses. And maybe that's why he's pissed. I think he's pissed because he's not getting his bonus. His bonus is not going to be as big as it was prior. And I'm hearing that he's actually on his way out as CEO. So they're going to usher somebody in new. Now let's go back and touch on what he said. He said Madam Web underperformed because the press crucified it. No, Madam Web underperformed because it was not a good movie. That's just plain and simple. He said it was not a bad film, but it wasn't a good one either. But this is where he contradicts himself. He said the press decided that they didn't want us making these films out of Kraven and Madam Web. I didn't hear anything about critics saying that why are they making a Kraven movie? Why are they making a Madam Web movie? I've heard people saying that they hope the movies are good. I'll even go on the record and say that there's one particular I could bring up, John Campea over at his show, and I watch his show a lot. He's been the one that I don't know, kudos to him. He was the only one that I know that was championing hard for Kraven the Hunter to succeed. Even though I looked at that movie, I'm like, this is going to be a piece of shit and it's going to flop. Even at an 8-minute opening sequence that you could tell was heavily edited, because that wasn't a full 8-minute clip. Because there was a hard edit up in there that I was like, okay, there's a piece of this missing. Like, that wasn't like the full scene. But anyway, with that nitpick notwithstanding, watching the opening sequence or whatever, I was like, okay, it's not bad. Like, based on what I'm seeing so far, it doesn't look like a bad movie. It's entertaining, even though I feel like I've seen this scene in another film, a far more better made movie. But based over this scene and Aaron Taylor Johnson doing the action stuff and the accent and all that other stuff, I'm like, okay, this doesn't look bad. And then the reviews came out. And then the fans came out and was like, God, this movie is terrible. Like, it's not just them. And then this was the kicker. When he went and compared, oh, Madam Web did well on Netflix. Like, since when is Netflix the litmus test for what is good and what is bad? Because quiet as it's kept, Netflix stays putting out a lot of shit. Go through their list of movies up there. It is slim pickings when it comes to finding a good one. If we did find a good one, and we're going to talk about it next when we talk about Carry On, because that was one of the rare ones that's actually good to come out of the sea of shit. So we're not going to sit up here and compare, oh, but Madam Web did well on Netflix, but it flopped in the movies. Why is that? Because Netflix doesn't cost people that much to subscribe to. Anybody can sit at home on Netflix and just watch a movie and just have it on. So how was that how was Netflix the litmus test of what's great? There's a lot of bad movies that are on Netflix that I don't even know how they tally up their numbers and stuff over there. That's still a mystery. But those numbers, I guess I don't know how all that works. But I see like in the charting list that those, this is what's one, number two, number three, number four. Like we see the list, how they do all that stuff up there. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But Madam Web going number one on Netflix is not all of a sudden this big thing. Oh yeah, because Netflix says it's great. We'll go with it because it said it's number one. But you do forget that, there are a lot of people out here for some reason. I mean, if like even if you do like I'll use this for an example. You can do something. I always try to find a silver lining and stuff whenever I talk about movies. Before, when I was younger and I didn't really know no better until I started when I went to film school and stuff, it'd be so easy to sit up here and just crap all over movies and say, oh, it's a piece of da, and watch your numbers just skyrocket because people love to watch critics shit on a movie. They do. And the numbers will go higher versus if you go and sit around and just be like, you know what, I see the silver lining, I see what they were doing, and this is this, and this, and you do all the pointing out. That may not get not so great numbers. But for the most part, negativity sells. So therefore, it'd be easy for everybody to just sit up here and crap on a movie. But if a movie is bad, just take the L and realize, okay, so if these movies are not doing really well, what went wrong? And I really feel like by the time we got to Kraven, fans were so pissed off at Sony for consistently releasing a lot of crappy live action movies, from Morbius to some of the Venoms just being okay, to Madam Web being terrible, to now Kraven being the worst out of all of them. I just think by the time we got to Kraven, people were just like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I'm not giving credence to Sony anymore. I'm not giving them no more chances. I'm gonna just thug it on out for their animated stuff. And that's the positive in all of this. Thank you, Brain, for reminding me. The animated stuff, like Into the Spider-Verse and all that other stuff, those movies, how is it that those are better than your live action movies? That's what I don't get. So while he doesn't believe Marvel's Sony movies are terrible, critics would disagree because Madam Web holds an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, while Kraven didn't perform much better with reviews and had a 15% Rotten Tomatoes score. Now, I should say, in addition to Madam Web and Kraven, Sony also earned negative reviews and bad box office with his Jared Leto starring Morbius movie. Yeah, I saw that in the theater, and I still don't know what the hell that movie's about. Sony insiders acknowledged to Variety earlier this month that Kraven, Madam Web and Morbius were creative and critical duds, even if they also can insist that Morbius, which made $167.4 million globally, did turn a profit. And that's another thing, too, that should be pointed out, that regardless of how you feel about some of these movies, Morbius did turn a profit. Venom did turn a profit. So they made a little money, not enough to garner a sequel, but they turned a profit nonetheless. Now, moving forward, they said the studio would need to be more discerning about which, if any, of the studio's stable of Spider-Man characters should be elevated into their own movie franchise. Now, Sony is currently working with Disney's Marvel Studios on a fourth Spider-Man movie set to star Tom Holland. Head over to the LA Times website, and they said that basically they have, like, in the LA Times, if you want to read the whole full profile in its entirety, you can go over there and read that. But yeah, we don't need to, because the main story here is to talk about this foolishness that he's out here spewing. So it just goes to show, you know what, Tony, you are out of touch. I'm glad you're on the way out. And I feel like that what Sony needs at this point, they need their own Kevin Feige or their own James Gunn, because Kevin Feige is someone who has been able to, steer the ship of Marvel, notwithstanding of what Bob Chapek did to him and pulled back the reins a bit, and which is why we've seen a couple of the MCU verses suffer a bit, because he pulled some rank away from Kevin Feige, and now that he got the reins back because Bob Iger came back in and gave him the full, thing of what he needed to do, now they're steering this ship in the right direction, I hope. But now, looking at DCU, when they announced James Gunn and Peter Safran's handling more of the business stuff. James Gunn is handling more of the creative stuff. James Gunn is a through and through comic book nerd. He understands the nuances and all the intricacies. That word is always a tongue twister for me to say. All the intricacies, but when you got to say it fast, of comic book stuff. So, like, even when you look at the Superman trailer, you see all the little things in there. It's like, okay, he's pulling things literally from the comic books and all these other things that's going on, which is why I trust in what he's doing. And plus, James Gunn's track record in Hollywood in regards of things he's written, things he's produced, and things he's directed speaks for itself. So that's why I trust in what he's doing. So Sony needs their own Kevin Feige, and they need their own James Gunn over there, someone who knows what the hell they're doing, somebody who understands the whole comic book world and is not just thinking, okay, it's a comic book thing. We're just going to not follow the source material, and we're just going to come up with a bunch of stuff. And even I don't know what the hell's going on in this thing. Yeah, go ahead, make the movie, make it work. I don't care. And let's see if people show up. And then when they don't show up, then it's our fault. It's like, no, give us a good movie with some quality and people that we care about, we could root for, some really cool action sequences, and you follow the damn source material, maybe people will actually show up and see your movie. You can't just sit and think that, I'm going to do a superhero thing, put some people in it, and then we're just going to have really flashy action sequences, and then people are actually going to show up and just see a movie that you made in the theater and think that's enough, because that's not how it works, sir. So if you don't understand how movie making works, maybe you need to step your little CEO ass to the side and let somebody who knows what the hell they doing coming to do the job. But like I said before, word on the curb is he's on his way out. So the next person they bring in, hopefully they know what the hell they doing over there at Sony, and they can give us some damn quality superhero live action movies for once. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of the Sony Pictures CEO blaming the failure of Kraven and Madam Web on movie critics and the fans? Because he tried to say at one point it was the critics' fault that he blamed the fans. So it was like you were gaslighting. You were trying to gaslight and blame everybody except for himself over the fact that you are the man at the top who's making the decisions. So maybe these movies are flopping because you don't know what the hell you're doing over there. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We are family. How you doing? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if Leonardo DiCaprio likes the homosexuals. Sony got the Miles Morales movie right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they're good with the animation. Cause I was like, wait, we got a Miles Morales movie? Yeah, the Spider-Verse, which I was just talking about. Which I actually said I want the kid that played Victor in Penguin to play Miles Morales on a live action version. We definitely need that movie. So I would definitely love to see that happen. But yeah, we need somebody over there at Sony that knows what the hell they're doing. Roma from Netflix was amazing, but that was 2018 nominated Best Picture. Yeah, a couple of movies they've had over there. They have a couple of movies on Netflix that have been contenders for Oscars and have been kind of in that whole situation. But I'm talking about like there hasn't been a really good movie that I could sit through and actually enjoy and watch over Netflix. Usually they're always like foreign movies. Muzafar says good. I love Morbius, but it wasn't amazing. Yeah, it wasn't. I went to the movies to see that, but I went to see it with my friends, so I'm not as upset about it. I'm just upset that the movie was trash. But I went with like my closest friends or whatever. We all went to the theater to see that movie, and it was just like it was trash. So Now, I did say earlier that we was going to talk about a movie that was good over there on Netflix. So let's get into Carry On, which I happened to see over the weekend finally. Because I remember it was a couple of, maybe like a week ago, around the time when it first came out. I don't even remember when the first time Carry On popped up on, the radar. But I remember, like, I was seeing a lot of my friends that were tagging me and recommending this. They were like, you got to see this movie. This movie is so good. And then I was seeing like a whole thread of like friends of mine over on social media talking about how good Carry On is. So I was like, I'm going to get around to watching it, but I was so caught up in so many other shows and movies and things that I needed to watch that I didn't get around to watching it. So finally, on when did I watch it? I think I watched it Christmas Eve because Carry On was kind of sort of, they were like, is it a Christmas movie or whatever? I don't recall any Christmassy stuff up in here. Now, sidebar, I do think that when we'll get into the thing in a minute, Die Hard and The Lost Kiss Goodnight are Christmas movies. I don't care what anybody says. But anyway, now let's get back into this one because I watched both on Christmas Day. That's like a tradition. I have to watch The Long Kiss Goodnight. Love that freaking movie. And I always got to watch Die Hard. Shout out to Bruce Willis. So Carry On came out, which people are saying is basically this is a Gen Z Die Hard or whatever the case is. Although we have had a Die Hard movie that took place at an airport, Die Hard 2, Die Harder. So it's a big hit over on Netflix. Now, I wasn't expecting this, but that's probably because everybody was talking so much about it and saying it was such a good movie that it is a huge hit for Netflix. So congratulations to them. So let's get into the story. Now, shout out to Deadline for this. And shout out to Taron Egerton, who still will always be Eggsy to me, if you've seen Kingsman. I actually want him to play Wolverine, though. So it says, Carry On a film about traveling through the airport at Christmas. Okay, so it is a Christmas movie. I guess we can categorize it as that. Is on course to break into Netflix's top 10 films of all time. Now, the thriller, which stars Taron Egerton, Jason Bateman, and Sophia Carlson, and also Theo Rossi. Well, I was looking at him, and he was the guy that was in the van that was pretty much tapped into the all the feeds and stuff in the airport. I was looking at him, I was like, so is this why he had that odd looking look that he had in The Penguin, who everybody thinks he's playing Scarecrow? Because I was like, he kind of had the same similar looks. I wonder if he was shooting both projects around the same time. So it said it remains number one on Netflix's weekly films charts, having already become Netflix's biggest launch of a film this year. Now, given that it has scored 97 million viewers in its first 10 days, Carry On, which was directed by, I don't know how to say his name, Jaume, is it Home Colette Sarah, and produced by Dylan Clark and Amblin Partners. Is Dylan Clark related to Dick Clark? It could well enter Netflix's top 10 films of all time. Now, for reference, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, wrapped up 136.3 million viewers in its first month to take the 10 spot. Now, Jennifer Lopez's The Mother is number 9 with 136.4 million views. We Could Be Heroes got 137.3 million for its 8th spot, and Millie Bobby Brown's Damsel secured 138 million for its 7th. Now, elsewhere on the film's list, Tyler Perry's The 688, which stars Kerry Washington, launched with 14.3 million views, putting it in second place ahead of Christmas films such as Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, The Christmas, and Disaster Holiday. Now, I have not gotten around to 688. Y'all already know how I feel about Tyler Perry in a lot of situations, but I did hear that this was a good one. So I'm actually gonna check out. Child, y'all pray for me. I'm gonna actually check out this Tyler Perry movie. Because you know how I be feeling about him and the Medea and all them other, them Uchiwali church movies that he be doing. But since this is something different and it's historical, I'm going to definitely check that out. So on the TV side of business, as Virgin River returned to take top spot, the long-awaited wedding of Mel and Jack, played by Alexander Breckenridge and Martin Henderson, respectively, helped the show to number one with 8.1 million. They said it beat Black Doves, a Christmas set spy drama starring Keira Knightley and Ben Whishaw, which was number 2 with 6.7 million views in the second week, having topped the chart last week with 14.6 million views. Now, I actually want to check out Black Doves because I heard people say that was a good one. And they said that Coleman Domingo's The Madness stayed in fourth with another 3.1 million views. On the international front, it was another big week for limited series La Palma. The volcano drama series earned 13.1 million views last week and nearly doubled in its week with 24.7 views, making the top 10 in 93 countries. Now, I do want to see La Palma. I don't know why I was thinking La Palma was that. Remember that show that was like a disaster type show that was on NBC? I was thinking it was that show. So I was like, how's this new? But then they said it's an international series. So to go down the list, it said at the bottom, especially when we talk about English films, top 10 week of December 16th. So we have The Dead Don't Die, followed by Coppola Legacy. Then we have Terminator Dark Fate, which I didn't mind. The Protege, I believe that's the movie with Maggie Q, which I actually like that movie. I like her. I feel like y'all they be wasting her in regards to like an action an action star, because she definitely is good at action. Because I remember seeing her in like an old action, like a martial arts action movie that was like from overseas, and then she wound up doing Nikita and a bunch of other stuff. And then she was also wasted in Live Free or Die Hard, although she did have a good fight sequence with Bruce Willis. But nevertheless, The Protege. Then they have Our Little Secret, Disaster Holiday, That Christmas, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, The 6888, and Carry On. And TV shows. At the bottom is Arcane Season 2. Then we have A Man on the Inside Season 1. Then we have Ronnie Chang, Love to Hate It. Then we have followed by Aaron Rodgers, Enigma Season 1. Then they have The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On Season 3. I don't know how y'all was up in here watching Jamie Foxx. What had happened was, because I heard that was not funny. But I'm not surprised, because a lot of the comedy that ends up on Netflix is always terrible anyway. Then they had The Madness limited series, followed by No Good Deed Season 1. Then we have Black Dove Season 1. And then top of the chart is Virgin River Season 6. And yeah, some of these things I definitely want to check out. Like, I've been hearing so many great things about Black Doves. I got to check that out. I also want to see La Palma. Speaking of which, Squid Game came out this week, the new season. Definitely gotta check that out. But I heard people said that they were underwhelmed by season 2. And I think it was probably because of the hype of season 1. I think that's probably why people had high expectations. And then when they saw season 2, they felt like, oh, it didn't just live up to the hype of season 1. So I don't know. I'll definitely have to check that out. I'm like, maybe y'all have a better chance of watching the season premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race, aka Squirrel Games, which is a play on Squid Games. So congratulations to Carry On. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was like, yeah, it was a step above your standard straight to Netflix action movie, but I felt like the tension is what kept me going with the movie, plus the performances of Jason Bateman and Taron Egerton in the roles that they played in that film. I did have to suspend my disbelief a little bit when it came to talking about like with certain scenarios that was going on in the airport. It was like, yeah, but it's a movie. I was like, I can suspend my belief just a little bit. But when it's like it's asking me too much, it was like, okay, I can't. But it didn't ask me for too much when it came down to that. And I did like that they were raising the stakes and stuff throughout the film. So if you have not gotten around to checking out Carry On, definitely check the movie out, because you will have it's a fun thrill ride, especially with, this holiday week that we're still in. Y'all need something to watch. Definitely check that out. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Did you get a chance to see Carry On? And what are your overall thoughts on the film? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. You said Netflix has Bradley Cooper last year. I still need to see it. Leonard Bernstein. I still haven't seen that movie. That was the movie that I was hearing too much about, that, oh, he was coming off a bit too pretentious in that part about when he was playing Leonard Bernstein. And he wasn't winning any of the awards and stuff from last season, but I'll get around to watching it. But it's like, yeah, it didn't do all that well. Is that the movie? Oh yeah, you said that was the movie with Dylan O'Brien. I wanted to get around to watching it. I was hearing mixed reviews, but yeah, I haven't gotten around to watching that either. There's been a lot of movies that have just been floating around that I have not gotten a chance to watch, that I need to get around to watching. But yeah, I think that came out around October, so I'm gonna get around to watching that hopefully this week. I thought the trailer for Carry On looked good. And the funny thing is, I never even saw the trailer. It just popped up on the thing and I watched it. And that was, that's when I just kind of jumped in. So I went in completely blind. Another movie I think that people need to jump in completely blind for, if you have not seen the film, and it is added to one of my best films of 2024 list, which we are going to do on this show before the year is over. That's in a couple of days. Strange Darling. That was a movie that I saw. Like, yeah, don't watch the trailer. Don't go do research. You literally have to go into that movie completely, open and blind to what the movie's about, because it will take you on this journey, and you think you know where the direction they're going with this film. You don't. So that is a movie you definitely need to like just watch. Go in cold and don't just be like looking up stuff, because you don't want spoilers. I do agree. Carry On is not a great name for an action movie, because with the movie doing as well as it did, you already know that we're getting a sequel. What are they going to call the sequel? They're going to call it Under Siege, the Carry On film or whatever, because you know what they were trying to do, like with oh my god, what's up? The Glass Onion and all that other stuff with how they would call it, like damn, I can't remember the initial name of that franchise. So they have to call it like the such and such saga or whatever the case is, because I'm like, yeah, you can't call, or you're gonna call it Carry On too. Like, how many more situations are gonna go down at the airport that they're going to keep making these sequels? So yeah, the title kind of like trumps it. I mean, not trumps itself, because I'm sitting there reading that Donald Trump comment. He said Chris Rock wasn't at all funny on his recent SNL appearance. Last time Jamie Foxx was funny was on In Living Color. And you're bringing up three people that kind of lost their must, though, in regards to funny. Because it was like, yeah, Jamie Foxx is way too big and way too rich and way too Hollywood, so that funny bone is long gone. I always hate when you get like these big A-listers that try to come back to the thing that made them hot, and then you realize, like, okay, once you made it, y'all kind of have lost your gusto. It's not there anymore. Chris Rock, yeah, hasn't been funny in a long time. Even his last special that he did for Netflix, I thought was disappointing. You know, when he what did the thing when it addressed the Oscars? Like, speaking of which, I feel like this is the perfect thing to bring up, because you bring up the Chris Rock comedy thing and you bring up Jamie Foxx. I feel like their comedy thing was one and the same, because people only tuned in because they wanted to know what the tea was regarding of the big drama that was surrounding their situation. Chris Rock with the Oscar slap, Jamie Foxx with the hospitalization, and then when you get around to it, it's like, okay, this is whatever. It's like, okay, that's all you giving. And then it was like with Chris Rock, it was like he was setting up all those jokes. It wasn't funny. And then when he got around to talking about the Oscar slap, yeah, it was like moment. I'm like, I chuckled a little bit, but it wasn't like, I didn't, as the uppity word, I didn't guffaw at any of what he said. So it wasn't memorable. And I did look. I did watch I didn't watch the whole SNL appearance. I watched a little bit of it, like when he made the joke about the CEO thing. I chuckled a little bit, but other than that, it's like, yeah, Chris Rock, you were too Hollywood. And don't even get me started on Kevin Hart. I've never not once laughed at his annoying 4'9", vertically challenged ass. Did you hear that Trump wants to acquire Canada and make it? Oh my God. Don't even get me started on him and the whole thing about Panama. And he's such a fucking idiot. And it's like, Carry On was an okay film. Jason Bateman is not a good actor, and the film looks like something that should be on Channel 9. Speaking of which, I heard, since y'all talking about stuff on Channel 9 or whatever, but it's not going to be on Channel 9, the Luther Vandross documentary, Never Too Much, is going to be on CNN. For why? I mean, maybe CNN is produced it or whatever the case is, but who the hell is watching a documentary on Luther on some damn CNN? I don't want to watch it there. If it becomes available somewhere else, I'm gonna watch it. But I'm not watching no damn CNN. Jimmy Foxx forgot to mention he ended up in the hospital after. I just knew you was gonna say something about that. Look, that's what everybody's speculating. They think, you know, the diddler tore up them cheeks, and I wouldn't be surprised. Kevin Hart has to rely on young comedians like Kai and Mr. Beast for relevance. Is Kai not really a comedian though? Or Mr. Beast? I feel like they're more of a nuisance than funny. They're just personalities. Trump said he's going to purchase Browns, but well, look, and what, destroy it? It's already a mess. Diddy is no joke. No, he's not. Not when he telling you to when he tells you to take that, you better take it. Now, okay, so hold on. Let's move on. Now, I was gonna say, speaking of Diddy, we about to get into him, but no, we got and Jay-Z, but no, let's talk about his wife Beyonce. So Beyonce, as y'all know, performed at this halftime situation on Netflix. Now, speaking of Netflix, I should say we should get into the Beyonce thing, right? So, I know that, and I said the same thing. I said y'all better hope and pray that y'all don't this thing don't start buffering like y'all did when it came to that Mike Tyson fight. Who was it? Which one did he have a fight with? Was it Jake Paul, Logan Paul? Same shit, different toilet. Still mediocre ass white boys who got far too much damn money for doing contributed absolutely nothing to society. So whatever that was, the buffering situation, it was a mess. Now, in regards of Beyonce's performance, she did her thing. Beyonce gave you Beyonce. I don't feel like that it was she didn't really step outside of the box completely for me. I just thought like it was all right. Especially like, when I went on my social media, I was basically like, I was left, to be honest, I was left a little underwhelmed. Now, let me explain it because I know people are going to be so, she didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? First of all, one thing I understand is history. I was really big on history in school. I remember history while, other people are trying to get rid of historical books and culture and all that other stuff. I engulfed myself in it. I told her when I was a kid, I used to read the encyclopedia front to back. Each and every one of them damn Encyclopedia Britannicas that my parents had up in that damn house on that damn wall unit that my father built. So me personally, like, I got the cultural significance. I got that she was paying homage to a lot of the Black, brown, and indigenous people who have contributed to country music. I love the idea that she had to remind some of you clear folks that Black people have contributed a lot to the culture of country music. For me personally, her performing those songs, specifically of the Cowboy Carter era, she performed all the songs except for there was a point in between tracks she did perform Freedom, which was the theme song for Kamala Harris. But overall, watching all that when she came down on the horse and walking through the tunnel and all that stuff to get to the stage, I realized why this was a one and done situation where she's giving you Cowboy Carter in that magnitude and not a tour. I do not feel that Cowboy Carter's era, and she knows this, would not work in a stadium setting. I don't think that Cowboy Carter would work in that way. I also do not think, because I worked in stadiums where we've done concerts, the way that how far away they have the stage from where the people actually sit up in there in the bleachers or whatever the case is at these stadiums, y'all are so far away from where she is and stuff, there will be a huge disconnect. Whereas a lot of these songs have pretty much an intimate vibe to them. You cannot do an introverted album on an extroverted level, especially when you're doing it in a stadium setting. It's not going to work. And I clearly felt based on this performance, it wasn't working. But she gave you what she needed to give you. She gave you the leotard. She gave you the same hair. She gave you the, all that stuff like she having a damn seizure. Like she gave you all of that. She gave vocals. She sang her ass off. She gave you 50 damn dancers in the cowboy regalia, giving the same type of choreo. Like to me, I just felt like watching all of this, and we've seen her do this in the past with the cultural significance. It didn't feel no different to me than watching, say, Baychella or, when she did the Super Bowl. So it just felt like I was getting the same kind of performance-wise, the same thing. And I'm sure people are going to be mad over what I'm saying, and that's fine. But you can have your opinion, I can have mine. But one of the things that was pissing me off was there were some people that were on social media with the little racial undertones. I'm sure there were racists out there that didn't even watch it and was hating. But if you didn't watch it, then I don't feel like you should be able to comment. But I also did not like when someone said that her performance was an insult to country music. I remember I posted this on social media, and I had somebody, of course, who always tries to combat every damn thing I say a lot of times. Oh, well, I didn't hear nobody say that. I didn't see those. Well, you don't belong to the same groups I belong to. Like, I'm on a whole lot of shit on social media. So when I'm scrolling through and I'm seeing people comments, I'm like, does that mean I got to screenshot what everybody says for y'all to even actually believe the things that I'm saying? And somebody I know who works in the industry said that, you know what, they feel like, Beyonce, girl, it's time for you to get a new choreographer. You keep giving the same kind of performance. Nobody's taking away from the homages. I do feel like a lot of times she spends way too much time paying homage to people that it takes away from the overall performance. Just get up there. You can have your little symbolisms and stuff, but get up there and give a show. And like I said, when it comes down to a stadium type situation, to me, if she's going to do Cowboy Carter as a tour, which we're going to get into the big announcement that's supposed to be coming up in January. Girl, if this is what you want to do, if you're going to tour Cowboy Carter, which I don't think she will, I think she's going to release the next third act, which I think is what that next thing is. The rock era, I feel like she needs to combine Cowboy Carter with the rock, because you can make that work. You can make those intimate moments work with the big, good, the big band type stuff where you can get up there and get your little Tina Turner on. And give that whole situation. If you want to actually do the whole intimate thing, you're going to have to take the Madonna Madam X approach, and you're going to have to do smaller venues. Now, the Beehive can get all mad if they want, but if you're talking about the artistic, if you're trying to get up in your artistic bag, you're going to have to do a 5,000 seat theater if you're trying to do this whole intimate Cowboy Carter thing and rely a lot on those songs. So that's what I was seeing with that. Now, that is my review on what I felt about it. I thought, it was cute. She had Blue Ivy up there, but that was no different than her bringing Blue Ivy out on the Renaissance tour. So a lot of what she was giving, been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. So that's probably why I didn't feel as much as everybody else, quick to jump up on here because they scared to give a difference of opinion because they worried about what other people are going to think if they don't like something. And nobody's taken away from that. Beyonce is not up there on the same level of a Michael Jackson and a Madonna in regards of, or Prince, that she is up there on the Mount Rushmore as one of the biggest performers of my lifetime, of the 21st century. Nobody can match what Beyonce does. But if we're talking about her Super Bowl performances, I've seen better with Homecoming, aka Baychella. And, when she's done other performances, when she did the whole Michael Jackson homage situation and the Black Panther and all that other stuff, like, we've seen that already. So that's why I just didn't have that same feel for me, because it's like, yeah, Cowboy Carter, you got to pay homage to that whole situation, but it didn't give me the same cultural impact. Probably because I'm not a big country music fan. I don't care if red folk had a contribution to country music. It's not a genre that I particularly care for. But she gets an A for effort. So, according to Nielsen, by the way, they reported that Beyonce's Netflix halftime performance brought in over 27 million viewers, which is more than the eyes that tune into her CMA award performance, and those were 12.8 million viewers. And this is why I said, you know what, y'all was sitting up there throwing shade to my, she got to jump through hoops and do all this other stuff to even be acknowledged in y'all situation over there at the Country Music Awards. If you actually would have invited Beyonce to y'all situation and nominated her and actually had her up in there performing, then maybe what would have happened was your numbers would have jumped. Because one thing about Beyonce does bring in the ratings. And a lot of the Beehive who don't particularly care for country music would have came over there and gave y'all some numbers. But y'all want to get up in y'all little limited bag situation. That's cute or whatever. So they said Netflix released a press release on Thursday that over 27 million Americans tuned in live to watch the 43-year-old pop diva's 15-minute, 8-song medley, according to Nielsen. Now, on the group, 24.3 million average million, okay, let's read that again. Of that group, 24.3 million average minute audience were watching the football game where the Baltimore Ravens absolutely creamed the Houston Texans. This ain't Texas. Apparently not, because y'all was 31-2. However, Beyonce amassed far more, 110.8 million in 2013, when she headlined the Super Bowl in New Orleans alongside her Destiny's Child bandmates Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams. Now, Knowles Carter scored even more, 115.5 million in 2016, when she got in formation with Super Bowl 50 headliners Coldplay in Santa Clara, California, alongside featured guests Bruno Mars and Mark Ronson. comparison. Now, by comparison, on February 11th, they said the Super Bowl became the most watched program in American history with 129.3 million, tuning in to see headliner Usher roller skate in Paradise. What is it? What's NV? Child, I don't even know. And it said the 32-time Grammy winner enlisted her 12-year-old daughter, Blue Ivy, to serve backup dancer duties, which I said is we've seen that already. And she also had Post Malone and his Moose Knuckle, and Shabuzi came out as well. Now, Queen Bey raised eyebrows using a finger gun gesture just as Big Bang banner unfurled beneath her platform, a move which is illegal for NFL players to make on the field. Well, she's not an NFL player. She's a performer. And I can't do a whole gun gesture when we have mass shootings in America and y'all continue to turn a blind eye to it. So, but somebody doing a finger gesture about a gun, that's blasphemous. I just really don't understand the ass backwards mentality that we have in this country when it comes to gun gestures and what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. It's like, okay, y'all work my root canal nerve with all this BS. Oh, and also to tell y'all, in case y'all didn't know, Beyonce, apparently, word on the street is she made $20 million from performing at Super Bowl halftime. So congratulations to her. She got a little 20 million extra added to the situation. And I guess after her doing that, she doesn't even need to tour Cowboy Carter. That's a little, 20 million to her is like $20 to us. I would say. So yeah, she had them come out, and now to get into this part. So she mentioned also that she has something major planned for 2025, and we only got to wait like about 19, 18 days to find out what it is, or 20 days. So, so I'm curious as to what exactly that is that she's going to be doing, because she did have the post. Let me see if I could pull that up for y'all. I gotta go to the Twitter. Yeah, so we have this. Well, she was up here with all that hair. Come on, hair weave, a wig, waving that flag. So I do wonder what exactly it is that's going on. So people wonder, are we getting a tour? Are we getting something that's going to be going on? So January 1st, 2025. People want to know, is it some people said with the red font, that's like the symbol for rock music. I ain't never heard nothing about that being, a rock symbolism, but if that's what they feel like is going on, then okay, so we'll see if that's what is happening. Regarding that, I have no idea. We'll see what it is when that comes out. But I'm actually hoping that it's something relatively entertaining that we're going to be getting in regards of whatever her next chapter is, because she got to keep herself busy while, her and her husband got to find ways to keep his ass out of jail. So I say all this to say, what did y'all think of, the BeyoncéBowl? Did you guys enjoy what you saw? Like me, I said to me, it just gave standard Beyonce performance. It was nothing for me to get all excited about. I watched the performance. It was heavily on Cowboy Carter, which, yes, it did make my best albums list, but it wasn't necessarily my favorite record. It is something that I listen to if like I'm wanting to chill out or whatever the case was. To me, it doesn't, that, as I said before, that album for me does not work in a stadium setting. I feel like if you're going to do something as intimate as Cowboy Carter of a record that it is, you need to scale down. You need to squeeze down that ego, because the Madonna could do it for Madam X. You could do it for Cowboy Carter, and you need to do smaller venues instead of trying to think that once you made it and you too big for arenas and theaters, that everything has to be in a stadium setting. And I really don't feel like outside the Beehive that a lot of people are going to support a tour of Cowboy Carter like they would Renaissance. Now, Renaissance was on a whole nother level with the screens and all the things and the bells and whistles you brought up in there. That is more of an exterior record. That is more of a record that you want to experience all the craziness, the visuals, and all the other stuff that goes on along with that. Cowboy Carter is a more intimate record. It needs to be seen it needs to be just down to a smaller scale. And all the Beehive can't get to see it because of the size of the venues, which some places are like 5,000 seat, 7,000 seat venues, then just record it on a DVD and put it out for the people to see it. like you did with Renaissance. Or maybe that's what it is. Are you finally going to release Renaissance on, DVD or digital, whatever? Because people still waiting for that to come out. Tay done release Eras, but we still waiting on Renaissance. So, whatever your thoughts are on the Beyonce Bowl, good, bad, or indifferent, let me know in the comments down below. Okay. So Onyx says I would consider Kai a comedian. Mr. Beast is more of an entertainer. They definitely appeal to my generation. Yeah, which is why they get a lot of views, especially on Twitch. Beyonce has a lot of introvert songs, but she has the performance ability to turn them into extroverts. The ballads of Sasha Fierce, Lemonade tracks in the beginning of this halftime show, etc. It said Madonna wishes. Okay. How's Madonna wish she was Beyonce when Madonna came out before Beyonce, and Beyonce has taken a lot of pages out of Madonna's playbook in regards of how she conducts business, her label, and her showmanship. Agreed. So I've seen her do better, and I think like when you set such a high standard for yourself, to me, and that's how I look at performances. When you are performers, when you set such a high bar for yourself, ain't no half stepping. Like, I'm not accepting mediocrity from people when you always set the bar up here. I mean, I don't always expect that you got to be up here all the time, but when you set such a high bar for yourself, it's sort of like for Beyonce, I was like, it was okay. Like, I expected a whole lot more to come from her, because that is the bar that she set for herself. I know how, look, she a Virgo and I'm a Virgo. We know how we work. Especially I'm September 2nd, she's September 4th. So we definitely set high standards for ourselves when it comes to art and creativity and all that stuff. Beyonce surpasses Madonna performance wise by mountains. Match was Beyonce's age during the Confessions era. Well, no, Madonna was actually older than Beyonce. How old was Madonna? I think Madonna was like 40. Because next year would be the 40, the 20. Wait, the 20th anniversary? Yeah. Confessions hits its 20th anniversary next year. So Madonna will be 40. No, 40. Oh my God, she was born 1968. How old that would make her? Why am I blowing my right now? She'll be 67 next year. Well, we don't know when Confessions is actually going to be coming out next year. So it could be when she probably dropped before she turned 67. But when she dropped, when she came out, Confessions came out when she was about 46, 47, around that age. So she was a little older than her. And trust and believe, if you watch the Confessions tour, Madonna was out here doing all kinds of physical stuff with her body that, and they were like, oh, well, Beyonce has a bum knee and whatever. I was like, I get all that. Madonna was out here getting thrown around and doing hijinks, being flown in the air. She was doing the Pink acrobatics, and Pink is around the same age as Beyonce too. So I don't know if I agree with the whole what Beyonce surpasses Madonna performance. I mean, she probably would now because Madonna's in her 60s, and I think from all that physical stuff that she was doing with her body, she's now paying for it because she pushes herself so much. And I think it's because people look at you at a certain age and they feel like, oh, well, your body is fighting against all that. All the things that I was able to do in my 20s, like I can't really do that now. It's like, yeah, I'll be working my ass off at the gym. The next day I'll be feeling it. When I was in my 20s, I didn't feel nothing. It was like earlier, what was it? I think it was yesterday. I was talking in a group chat with some people and we were talking about how like, oh, these new generation of kids, y'all can't party like we used to. I was like, yeah, I used to go to work. Well, actually, I would go party until I was like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, head right to work, do my 8-hour shift, go right and go home, wash my behind, change my clothes, and go out again. So I wouldn't even go to sleep. These days, I can't even do that. It's like after a couple of hours, by the time 12 o'clock hit, I'm like, I'm ready to go home. I'm tired. My feet hurt. My knees hurt. My back hurt. That's me now. So I'm like, thank God I came around the time that I did. Because could you imagine you in your 40s, you trying to do the same thing you was doing in your 20s? I'd be a mess. They're saying she's the biggest entertainer on a level of Michael Jackson. Well, I think that she is up there with in regards of like big entertainers, Michael Jackson. But if you set that kind of bar for yourself, it's like, yeah, ain't no half stepping. It's like with Michael Jackson when he was coming out and he would give a show. It's like, yeah, we we was waiting because we knew that bar was already set. Like we already knew Michael Jackson was gonna give when he got up there and performed. Same thing with Madonna, but we get it now. Madonna is in her 60s. We can't expect her to do all the crazy stuff that she used to do, especially when she had a near-death experience. She almost died. It's like, girl, you need to pace yourself. You can't be out here trying to, be flung around the arena at your age. Them bones ain't gonna recuperate like they did 20 some more years ago. I feel these Christmas specials will be more common. Well, you know what? They need to figure out something so that way they can make some money. I don't even know. How did Mariah do? Because I forgot that she did the opening. Didn't she do All I Want for Christmas Is You? Which, sidebar, I heard her twins are tired of hearing them songs. Which I'm not surprised. I mean, if my mother was Mariah Carey, if I got to hear All I Want for Christmas Is You one more goddamn time, I'm going to smother you with this damn Christmas hat. Yes, and nobody is discounting Black excellence. I was living for it. And the fact of the matter was, I love the fact that she had to remind a lot of these clear folks up there that, Black people have contributed to country music. So if people want to get up there and be racist, which I did catch a couple of the racial undertones. There were some people in my comments was calling her the C word. I hate her. I'm like, First of all, you can dislike something. That's perfectly fine. But when y'all come up here and y'all be throwing the extra sazon on the situation, a little too much seasoning where it's like too salty to eat, then it's like, okay, I gotta windmill you a little bit. Like you ain't gotta go there. Like at least let me know what it was about the performance you didn't like. And that was like for me, I told you what I felt like, why I didn't like the performance. I got all the symbolisms and the nuances and all the things and paying tribute to the many Black contributors to country music, which I'm all for that. But sometimes Beyonce get a little too heavy on the education and forgets how to entertain sometimes. Or maybe she just was too heavy up in that it was like, okay, girl, now you're giving us the same thing that you've been giving us with the show. So it was like there was no evolution. But A for effort. I feel like she mostly agreed to do the special to promote the tour and for the Grammy voters. You know what? I don't know about a tour because I don't know what's going on. We'll see if that announcement is a tour. But I do agree with you on the Grammy voter part. I do feel like because Beyonce hasn't been out here shaking hands and kissing babies and doing all the politicking that it does take for you to even get up on the Grammy radar. I do agree that I feel like because I don't know when they start voting for the Grammys. I don't know. I think maybe the minute they start making the announcement of who's nominated, that they do the voting. And then I do believe of course, there's a deadline. I don't know what the deadline is. So I do agree with you that I feel that this was a kind of a nod to, okay, Grammy voters, this is why this album should win the AOTY Grammy for once. And y'all need to not give it to Taylor damn Swift because I'm tired of y'all keep giving that broad, my AOTY Grammy. Every time I try to go up and get a Grammy, they keep giving it to Tay. What's up with that? So I could totally see, like, yeah, this was her way of getting at the Grammys without her having to go up in there. Please vote for me. Thank you. Like, don't pay attention to my crazy ass, no good for ass husband over there. And child, speaking of which, we're talking about her no good ass husband. I'm gonna need you to not sing Jolene, because girl, don't nobody want your man. Trust and believe. You like him, you can keep him. Don't nobody want Joe Camel. Nah, he be looking. So, sis, you can have him. We don't want him. Stop singing whatever part that you tried to change up with Jolene, because sis, shout out to Dolly Parton. I'm sure she getting a residual because you covering it. But nobody wants your man. Period. At the end of that sentence. Another tour, Beyonce about the bag. But we'll see. But look, there's a lot of people touring in 2025. I'm already going to be pretty busy. It said, look at the horse, look at that horse, look at that horse, look at that horse. I do like that part of Sweet Honey Buckin'. Well, I told her that's like one of my favorite songs. And then she went and finally got into that song and was over in like 2 seconds. I'm like, girl, I need you to stay up on that track a little bit more. Cause that's like one of my favorites from Cowboy Carter. I said, I feel like she'll announce something else with the tour. Or like I said, not the horsehair says, whoa. You know what I was thinking about? Tamisha Iman from that season of Drag Race. Whoa! Remember she had to do that stupid scene in the acting challenge? That's what that reminded me of. Oh, bitch, that ain't fair. Give that horsey back his hair. There's the font in the video does look similar to the Black Sabbath font, but that's metal. Ozzy would be on Act 3. So it could be that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some people are saying that the font is kind of giving rock, metal, whatever. I don't think she's doing a heavy metal record. Could you imagine Beyonce doing a heavy metal record like very Wendy Williams? Like I cannot see her doing that, but I definitely feel like that the font, she just liked the font. I do think that she is going to be announcing that we're getting Act 3. I do think it is time to move on to Act 3. And I do feel like I said before, Cowboy Carter separately as a tour would not work, in my opinion, as a stadium show. I do feel like it would work better like what Madonna did with Madam X, making more of an intimate theater setting, because it is very much it just feels a little laid back, very intimate. Like I need to just burn some incense and smoke some weed and just sing along to them songs. That's what it gives me with that. But if she do the rock thing, she can incorporate Cowboy Carter stuff. She can incorporate the rock music segments because all of that work, the country rock, all that stuff can kind of work in that whole wheelhouse. And also, she can pull classic songs from her previous stuff, rework them, some of the ballads from her older catalog. She can bring in Daddy Lessons, and then she can also rework some of her songs to kind of give it that rock vibe or that remix or whatever. So I do feel like it could be she could do that. Madonna was 48 during the Confessions tour, and it's hard to compare Madonna to Beyonce. Madonna's on a different level, and Beyonce has used her and others as inspiration. Absolutely. And that's why I was saying also that the thing with Beyonce, nobody's taken away from the fact that she's not talented, because she is very talented. And she's worked hard to get where she is, not only as part of Destiny's Child, but as a solo act. But yeah, I do feel like that Beyonce always comes across as a student of those who came before her, and has relied too heavy on studying the greats and taking the best elements of the greats and incorporating it into her own situation. Whereas Madonna has set the bar so many times and kind of just did her own thing and pushed through and navigated to get where she is today. There was no blueprint. She created the blueprint in regards of like what a pop star has become 4 decades later. There are many pop stars that came before her. Nobody's discounting those. But in regards of how Madonna did things on her own and how she was counted out and discounted and kind of tossed to the side, and she pretty much just did her own thing, whereas not being a manufactured artist as so many other of her peers were and so many others after her, she's kind of done her own thing. And we've seen many of the girls, from Britney to Beyonce to Pink to even Kylie Minogue and so many others, have followed the Madonna blueprint and made it work for them. But you said what I mean is she wants to be in her prime again. Well, I'm hoping that. Well, yeah. Okay, I can see that then. But at this point, look, Madonna is not going to be able to get her prime. I think is done at this point. I'm like reinvention. I think she's done every genre there needs to be. I don't think that she could reinvent herself any other way. The only way I think what Madonna can do right now is just make a good record. That's all I think that she should be just focusing on. And hopefully with her being with Stuart Price, because he's real good. One of the things I will give Stuart Price, your album could be all over the place, but he's really good at producing, as in stitching something together and making it work. Because he did that with Kylie Minogue's Aphrodite. Aphrodite, from what I heard, was kind of like there was a lot of people that was coming in doing whatever. So Kylie went and brought in Stuart Price. Stuart Price went in, kind of put the album together and made it a cohesive body of work, which is why, in my opinion, Aphrodite is one of Kylie's best records, especially because it's so cohesive. So I don't think Madonna will ever be at her prime. She was at her prime. I think her peak was Confessions, because after that it was like she decided to change up and do other things. I didn't particularly, I already told you, I didn't care for Hard Candy. By the time she got to doing Hard Candy felt like it was, you were doing pretty much, you jumped on the Timbaland Pharrell bandwagon a little too late, in my opinion. And on that, and by the time that all that sound came out, Timbaland's production was getting a little stale. Pharrell will always, for some reason, even now, Pharrell always comes out with something just out of the box, creative, always willing to challenge himself, even though he's fully focused on Louis Vuitton and that whole fashion house. When it comes to certain music, whatever, he still be out here doing his thing. But in regards of Timbaland, your beats is tired. Ain't nobody trying to. Well, I guess some people out here are starting to work with him still, but it was like Timbaland is not that dude that I used to love back in the day in the '90s and the 2000s. That I used to just love anything he would put out. I just be hyped for. Now it's just like whatever. I mean, Justin Timberlake will work with him since he don't know no other producer. So Cleveland said, "Y'all better stop coming for Madonna." Wait, 45? Who we talking about? Donald Trump? They said, yes, she did. But it was pre-recorded. Wait, what's AIWFCIY? Why am I having a brain fart with the acronyms? To hear that some people said that Beyonce was lip syncing. I don't know, because here's the thing. I watched the performance on social media. A friend of mine sent it to me on Twitter. So Twitter had the full performance. I didn't go on Netflix. I was not trying to sit through and deal and fight with buffering and all the other mess because I already knew. And this is why I was telling people, I said, just wait until it pops up on Twitter or YouTube or whatever. And it did. Like as soon as the damn thing was over, people already had it recorded. They screen recorded it, I guess, watch it on their phone or whatever. And it was already up on the social media platforms. And another thing too, because one of my friends was at work, one of my coworkers yesterday, because I worked the WWE match, which was cool because I was literally on the floor. I sent a screenshot and a picture. I sent a picture to a friend of mine, like how literally close to the ring I was, my section that I was working in. But anyway, so I sent him. So after that, whatever, I watched the video. One of my coworkers at work was like, I don't have Netflix, so I didn't see the performance because we was in the break room and just chilling whatever until it was time for us to go to work. And he was just like, they were talking about Beyonce and the performance, whatever. I think it was like one of the local news channels in New York. And he was like, oh, I didn't see it. And I was like, you could just go on Twitter or YouTube, whatever. It's up there. You can watch it. You don't even got to have, because he said he don't have Netflix. And that's why the numbers weren't that high, because a lot of people don't have Netflix. So, yeah. So I think that's probably why the numbers also wasn't that big. And especially when we were talking about, the Netflix numbers versus Super Bowl halftime. Everybody got network TV. So it's free. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money to watch regular television. So the numbers, of course, are going to be a lot bigger than paying, God forbid, how much money they charge you to pay for Netflix these days. Another thing, the halftime show reminded me a lot of Rihanna's halftime last year. You want to know something? You ain't said nothing but a word, because I said the same thing. When she got on that platform at the end, I'm like, is this giving Rihanna at the Super Bowl? Beyonce, you out here you ripping off the mistress? I mean, the girl that allegedly Jay-Z slept with back in the day. You out here ripping off Riri? Because it did kind of give that. So I said the same thing. I was like, not you out here trying to rip off Rihanna. Because I did say that. It was like the dances, the usage of white clothing. But didn't Rihanna have people wearing red, or was she the only one that wore red? Going up on that platform at the end, and you said, I was impressed with the dance rehearsal routine Madonna did while wearing a pantsuit. Mm-hmm. And you said Grammy voting is January 3rd, the deadline. So that's next week. That's actually the day RuPaul's Drag Race season 17 premiere drops on I was gonna say Paramount Plus. It ain't gonna be on there. You gotta have MTV to watch it. So yeah, she giving y'all until next week. So she said, I gotta get out here and I gotta show y'all. Vote for this thing. Beyonce is working on her next album, Camel Carter. Because we said he looked like Joe Camel, right? They said next album should be called Bank of Beyonce. Wow, to see how much money she making. Hey, now Janet was on the rise, same time as Madonna, and yeah, she was, and nobody's discounting what Janet has done. But I feel like, you know what, that whole thing still with the Super Bowl, I feel like that whole debacle has. I think it still hurts her, unfortunately. I wish it didn't. I do feel like people have moved on from it. But to me, another criticism that I have when it comes to Janet, that's another one that doesn't evolve with her performance. She did the same 1-2 step. Now she done, I don't know if she on a budget or whatever, but why are you only dancing with 4 backup dancers on your tours? And it looks like you can't even afford to like have props or anything on your stage. And my thing is, what is Randy over there? You need to fire him as your damn manager because he's ruining your career. He's ruining your legacy, sis. So I need somebody up in there that knows what to do with Janet. Get her some new choreographers. And she still, who was her choreographer? Gil, who she worked with back when he was little. So he knows her inside and out. But you need to push her as a damn dancer. We like the signature if breakdowns and all that other stuff. But girl, I need new stuff. Well, look, I'm not even waiting on Black Diamond because we know that ain't coming. Just like I know Rihanna's next album ain't coming. But we need something. We need you to like to give us something different because I already know what to expect at a Janet concert whenever she goes on tour, and she's supposed to do a residency next week. Her residency starts up next week, actually, in Vegas. The last hope for Madonna having another prime as Stronger Things using one of the. Oh, you said Stronger Things. Stranger Things using one of her songs and it going crazy viral, like running up the hill. Or when Like a Prayer was in Deadpool and Wolverine. So it could be that. So yeah, it could be either Stranger Things or like we said, Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, it's like that's what we're saying. Like, sis, you need to start renting out your music to like to movies and things of that nature. It'd be a little check, but also it's just to get the newer generation into your music. Because I watch some of the YouTubers, the younger generation, you know, the Gen Z YouTubers, and probably even Gen Alpha, who are up here listening to Madonna's music, watching her music videos, diving into her discography, and breaking down, you know, a lot of the music from that era, those her past eras. So some of y'all need to some of y'all need to rely on a lot of us, you know, YouTubers, podcasters, content creators to boost y'all because these labels aren't going to do it. It's like even let me take it back to that Sony situation with the CEO blaming the critics. I'm like, if it wasn't for the critics or the people, y'all wouldn't get these asses in seats. This was a comment, and I meant to bring this up when I was doing the segment, but I'll bring it up now. This is why I don't even do reaction videos to trailers because whenever I do something where I show a clip or something or another from be it Superman or Batman or any of or even when I did the Honor the Armis thing, when I showed y'all the trailer and everything, we were talking about it for Ballerina, it got flagged. So they got these stupid algorithms that flag your videos and somebody, it's a copyright and you can't monetize and also it's like it's not even about us trying to monetize. It's literally us bringing attention to a lot of the movies because the critics, those of us who go to the movies, who watch them, people want honest opinions from regular people rather than some bought and paid for pansy or whatever that works at a Hollywood Reporter, Variety, or even Entertainment Weekly, being like, "Oh yeah, it was a great movie and it was a piece of shit." Because and y'all lie because you want to get that invite to that premiere. Like if that's what all y'all care about is coming to these, like I've done premieres, I've done all this stuff. It's not always cracked up to be. It's okay. Y'all standing on a little sideline like freaking cattle as the celebrities come down and you're asking them questions and you're taking their photo. It's tedious. It's a lot of energy consuming. I do love the after party because of the free food and drinks, but for the most part, it's like it's okay. Like it's nothing to brag home about, and to me, I could care less about all these invites. It's great to get to go to them, but that's not what I do all of this for. So I don't understand. So that's why I don't really do a lot of the reviews and stuff. Like a lot of people do the reaction stuff. I just come on here and be like, I saw the movie, here's my opinion, and we move on because it's a headache with a lot of these studios. It's like y'all do realize it's not y'all spending millions of dollars to promote your film when you could be relying on a lot of us who are doing it for free, who are pushing your movie, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, to get butts in seats. We are the new generation of people that's getting ass in seats, not y'all spending $1 million or $2 million on a promo. How do you think Terrifier 3 did well? It's because we were on social media talking about how good the movie was. And I forget the production company, but Damian Leone was literally going out having conversations with a lot of the pundits online. He was really engaging with a lot of social media people. So that also helped his film gross $100 million. And if these major studios can't understand it, then y'all are just out of touch. Like that CEO of Sony. Oh, you said AIWFCIY, all I want for Christmas is you. I had a brain fart. I think we've had this conversation before, and I'm like, what is that? I always thought Becky with the good hair was Rihanna, but let's move on to the next. Now you sound like me. Let's move on to the next topic. Where you said, good afternoon. Hope everybody had a good Christmas or a slutty one. Well, no, I was well behaved. I was working on Christmas. I wish I was out being a whore. But you said, not really Janet's first 2 studio albums flop. And nobody on A&M believed Control will be a hit. Well, that is true because her father took control of her career. The first 2 albums did flop. Control was album number 3. It did do well because Janet actually pushed to take control of her career, hence the album being called Control. And then she was getting good and putting the records out. So it was like we had Control, we had Rhythm Nation, and then of course we had Janet, which she was getting her Sex Kitten era, which some people will say she kind of took from a little bit from the erotica era, which I believe she did take a little bit from that, from more or less in oh my god, what's the Velvet Rope? I don't know why I couldn't remember the name of that damn album. And I feel like after Velvet Rope, kind of like Madonna with Confessions, that was when she hit her peak. After that, it was like, okay, you putting out mediocrity. And don't get me wrong, I love Feedback, but Demita Joe was not a good record. And you said, why are these young dudes sleeping with these old women? Same reason why these old dudes are sleeping with these young women. And you said it's like younger gays and older men, the sex is better. Straight up. You know what? No shade, but when I was younger, I did have lots of sex with older men, and I just thought because it was just the sex was better. And when I was younger, I wanted to learn a lot about sex and what it felt like because I felt like older people knew what to do versus someone my age where we're just running around trying to figure out what the hell we're doing in the bedroom. So yeah, I was having when I was a teenager, you would call it sexual molestation or whatever, but no shade. I was seeking out a lot of these older men. It was a lot of older black men that I was having sex with. I remember and this was like in the early days before I realized I was a top and I wasn't a bottom. So I was like, I was going after these, these black men with horse dicks and they was tearing my hole up. And I was like, not no more. You're not going to be tearing my behind up. I know that was TMI, but whatever. We be sharing a little too much over here. Wait, so you said, let me finish what you said. You said Stranger Things got to dress you up in Material Girl, but she's stingy and wants to be involved, which makes it difficult. And it's like, sis, let them, you got to trust in these shows, but to know what they're doing with your music. The problem is Madonna says she doesn't really watch a lot of TV. So she probably doesn't really know a lot of what they're doing behind the scenes with her song. And it's like, yeah, you can't be trying to control every little minute detail with your song being used for a certain scene in a TV show, a movie, or whatever. Just license it out, make your coins, and keep it moving. I remember hearing Material Girl everywhere 5 summers ago when it was used in the 3rd season. Even when Saucy Santana was going viral for Material Girl, Madge herself ruined momentum. Well, she has a habit of doing that sometimes. Open Your Heart, my favorite Madonna video. I feel Saucy Santana gave up after Madonna hijacked it. He just doesn't seem interested in music. But he seemed interested in falling asleep on his lives, though. I mean, he said Madonna could play the Wicked Witch. I'm not sure what she sees when she looks in the mirror, but the Botox is having its revenge on her face. You said Halloween helped. I think Elkhart with the good hair is Snoop Dogg. Oh, did anybody hear his Missionary album yet? I still have not heard that record. Okay, so now let's move on. Speaking of Beyonce, now someone who's not having a good week, even though his wife has, performing at the Super Bowl. Well, not well, it was the halftime. I don't know why. See, now I got Super Bowl in my damn brain because that's what we always think of when it comes to halftimes. Like Super Bowl's the only one that has one. Everybody got a damn halftime. But anyway, so Jay-Z is not having a great week as his SA accuser can pretty much remain anonymous despite the rapper's insistence that she reveal her identity. Because remember, at one point, Diddy got to score a victory when he got one of his anonymous accusers had to reveal their name and who they are. And the judge ruled and said that they had to be. But it seemed like it's not such good news for Jay-Z. So, let's get into that. Please do. Let me pull this picture up before we get into that. Okay, so now the woman who filed her lawsuit under the name Jane Doe alleged that she was R-worded after she was driven to an MTV VMA after party 24 years ago. Now, she first sued Combs in October and 2 months later amended the complaint, adding Sean Carter to the complaint. Now, in response, Jay-Z's attorney Alex Spiro filed the motion to strike the complaint, stating that the filing should be dismissed if the accuser does not reveal her identity. U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres denied the motion on Thursday. Now, Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client, wrote Judge Torres in her ruling, per court docs obtained by People. Now, the court will not fast track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it, which is what the judge added. She also noted that Jay-Z's attorney Spiro said that he intended to immediately file the motion to strike the amended complaint, but he failed to give Doe the required 5 days to respond, saying this is unacceptable. This is what Judge Annalisa Torres wrote. Now, people reach out to Spiro for comment, but have not received a response at this time. And it just feels like, you know what? Jay-Z's attorney feels like they could just walk into a room and bulldoze their way into a situation. And just because you got a lot of money, power, and influence, that you can work over this judge. And she's like, not today, Satan. So the coordinated in desperate efforts to attack me as counsel for alleged victims are falling flat, Tony Busby, the attorney repping Jay-Z's accuser, tells People. Now, in Spiro's previous court filing, he urged the judge to require the woman to reveal her identity if she wants to continue the lawsuit. This is according to the Associated Press. Now, Spiro wrote in part, Mr. Carter deserves to know the identity of the person who is effectively accusing him in sensationalized publicity hunting fashion of criminal conduct, demanding massive financial compensation, and tarnishing a reputation earned over decades. Well, they're probably thinking all of this because, he needs to know who this lady is. So what? You can get on social media and smear her? Because we know what a lot of you people in power. Now, don't get me wrong. If anybody's accusing someone of SA, I do agree, in a perfect world, you should be notified as to who is following these things. Knowing him, you're probably like, I don't know her. But her revealing herself, we know what you're going to do. It's called, you're going to humiliate and intimidate her, or the attorney will probably try some slick mess, which is, oh, so and so said all of this, she's revealed, and then you got the Jay-Z fans who are going to go dox her or jump on social media and bully her and then scare her to the point where she's going to want to pull back her situation. So yeah, whether or not this thing is true, because I don't know, I wasn't there. I didn't witness Jay-Z allegedly doing these things to this girl 24 years ago. And I don't want to get to a point. See, and I hate the fact that I would have to say, yeah, somebody her age should not have been allowed. How did she get into an after party? How was she hanging out with all these grown ass people? Where the hell was her parents? Who was she there with? Because I don't remember exactly who it was. If she was there with a friend or whatever. Where was this person? And so, but when you say that, people automatically equate with, oh, here you go, victim blaming. She put herself in this position. Because I don't trust none of these grown ass people and what they're capable of. These people out here just batshit insane. There'd be a lot of Chester and molesters running around this industry. So now on October 13th, the accuser acknowledged in an interview with NBC News that she made mistakes and her recollection of the incident has inconsistencies. However, she stands by her allegations that Combs and Jay-Z allegedly raped her. Oops, I was supposed to say R word because you know how the algorithms are on here. Saying you should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself, the now 38-year-old woman told NBC News. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life. I just hope I can give others the strength to come forward like I came forward. And you know what? A lot of times that, look, I've seen enough episodes of Law and Order SVU to know that, a lot of times when it comes to people getting R-worded by someone, there can be inconsistencies in some of the things they say because you know what? When it comes to someone being SA'd, there, the lines can be blurred. You're going to forget things. You can't always remember certain things because you block things out. But the thing you would remember is that at the end of the day, I do remember I was in this room with these two people and they did this to me. And so now the attorney's thing is to prove that these situations happen and get a jury to believe it and see how we convict. Does this mean that Jay-Z gonna go to jail? Does this mean that Jay-Z's got to pay this big fine? And or is it that his reputation is gonna be forever ruined? Because he is running things over there at dealing with the NFL and the Super Bowl halftime situation. And we ain't got to go into a whole tangent about how some of these people in the industry feel about Jay-Z and the way he conducts business and the shadiness behind the scenes towards other artists and things that he tries to stop people's bag, like the things 50 Cent has said about him, and why he don't particularly care for Jay-Z because of the little sneaky snake shenanigans that he does behind the scenes business wise, where he tries to stop people's bags and situations. So I can totally understand all of that. But like I said, what I'll be doing is I will definitely keep abreast of the story as it develops. But it looks like, Jay, that it's a strike against your situation, that you were trying to get a little something going, and the judge said motion denied. The girl can remain anonymous. And so I ask all of you this. What do y'all think of this story in regards of the judge's ruling as of now? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Did you keep count? You said we spent 43 minutes on the BeyoncéBowl topic. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to certain artists that we talk about, if it's a Beyonce, if it's Madonna or whatever, that the gaps in between, these are the big debates. We tend to get into this big, long-winded conversation about the divas, and people want to jump in and give the comments and all the other stuff. So yeah, there's that. I heard Netflix effed up and like boxing lagged a lot. Oh, did they? That's what I was wondering because I know that they were making jokes about the buffering issue. I didn't watch it because, like I told, Christmas Day I was working the Knicks game, which the Knicks, y'all stressed me the fuck out with that game versus the Spurs. I'm glad in the end that y'all came through and we won, but y'all had me stressed watching that game, during, when it happened on Christmas. But like I said, I'm glad we won, but y'all had my nerves in a knot. But seeing like the Knicks fans were so excited we won in the end, I was like, okay, this is a good Christmas to tap off. Sidebar, what did everybody get for Christmas? I got a lot of stuff. I want to get some money because my father always gives me money every year, which I definitely needed some extra cash. So I was living for that. And I told y'all, like, shout out to y'all who support this show because y'all definitely helped me out financially with the YouTube. That YouTube money came in, so and right on time. So I wasn't hurting. I know January is probably gonna be a little tough, but December was a good month in regards to like my YouTube residuals. So I want to thank y'all for those who support and comment, and even when y'all be sending them super chats and stuff, it definitely helped out. So with that money, like I said, that money came in on time. So I had that. Then my sister wound up giving me a PlayStation, which I'm like good because I needed one so I could watch my physical DVD, so I could watch like DVDs and stuff in it. So I was thinking because I think the DVD release of Silent Night Deadly Night came out. So I need to go and I need to buy that so I can actually watch it. Then I was like, oh, I could watch my old episodes of Queer as Folk with the original music for Babylon in it because I don't watch the Netflix, what channel is it on? Paramount Plus. I don't watch that one because they changed up the music. I guess they lost the licensing. So yeah, I can watch my DVDs and stuff in it whenever I feel like I'm in the mood to watch stuff when it's originally intact and not changed up. So yeah, I got that, and my mother got me like this hoodie. with because I am part indigenous with the tribe of her side of the family and where they're from, the Unkachug tribe. So she wanted to give me a hoodie with that. Then also, then what else did I get? I was like, I got a lot of stuff. um off the top of my head, damn, I can't even remember. I did get my mother a panini presser. Well, where you can make like panini and all that other stuff. I wound up getting her like a little sandwich maker because that's what she wanted. Funnily enough, my cousin and they were playing like some game or whatever. And she won a panini presser, so she wound up with two panini pressers. But mine's is better because it's bigger. They got her this little cheap one, but whatever. You said during the game. Okay. That part, nobody wants your man. Oh, you probably just watching back what I said, or it's probably during the comments. It is interesting that the case came right before big Carter family entertainment events. They timed it just correctly. Judge gagged him a bit. Because y'all thought y'all could just come up in there with y'all money, y'all influence, and bulldoze y'all way like some of you bitches with y'all big old, strollers passing off as batting rams. Be trying to shove y'all and y'all babies on a damn train without letting people get off. And that was a conversation I had with a coworker, with some friends of mine. I was like, child, do they not know I will knock them and that damn stroller over with the baby in it? Like, don't play with me. Because some people think, because they had a baby in there, they think they could just use it as a way to steamroll over people and like people won't get knocked out. People out here are crazy. People will knock you and your child out. They don't give a damn there's a baby inside. It's like y'all just be thinking, oh yeah, nobody's gonna hit me. Yeah, okay, you keep thinking you invincible. Netflix on some 3D BS. Okay, that's why I was like, Netflix is a mess. Y'all not. I guess they are at the top of the food chain, but they not. I'll just be like, whatever. Nine times out of 10, I'll be forgetting to watch stuff on Netflix. Although yesterday I was on Netflix a bit, watching some stuff. Okay, so oh, you said Amazon gift cards, cash, ghost face clothes, and stuff for my kid. You got a kid? Where they at? Um, oh yeah, I didn't get any gift cards. I remember people used to give me gift cards in the past, but I used to waste them. So I don't really be using the gift cards and stuff like that. Um, But yeah, watch me remember all the. Oh yeah, and I got my. They also got. I got a pair of shades that have like built-in like speakers, so I can listen to music. Listen, I really hope this trial is fair. You said this trial is fair. I don't like how Jay-Z wants the victim to reveal herself and is using his power to try to get his way. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was just sitting there like, yeah, I just feel like a lot of times the way that he's going about this case is so like, yeah, I'm Jay-Z. How dare you come at me with these accusations and da da da. Because remember, we said before, like remember when the Diddy stuff first started coming out. Everybody would talk about Diddy, but under the same breath, they were like, oh, Jay-Z's next. I'm like, well, goddamn, can we focus on one person at a damn time before y'all trying to take every damn mogul down? I was like, everybody, all things ain't created equal. So then, of course, they try to bring Jay-Z next, Jay-Z next. And now that we got this tea about Jay-Z coming out, they about, see, I told you, Jay-Z involved. And Jay-Z was, I was like, y'all don't even know. Y'all wasn't there. Y'all wasn't in the room. But like we said, when it comes down to the trial, we'll see if it's fair. But I also do agree that I don't like the way that he and his attorney are doing these intimidation tactics. My kid, my crazy, your crazy ass cat. He said after Stranger Things, Netflix won't have a big show. Yeah, they won't. Because I can't think of like what's the next big is it can't be Squid Game. I didn't even see it. Like I told you, I didn't even see season 2 yet. It came out when did it come out? Today? Yesterday? I haven't seen Squid Game. They're already revealing stuff online. I'm like, well, goddamn. Like not a lot of us just sit there and just devote 8 hours because some of us have lives, no shade, but a lot of us, I don't have 8 hours to sit there and watch some damn Squid Games. But like I told you, get into Squirrel Games when we do when Drag Race comes up next week. Yeah, but when is that coming out? Because we still waiting for Euphoria, or have we all moved past Euphoria? Kind of like Stranger Things. Like I could care less, but I feel like you know what? When Stranger Things comes out, I'll watch it. but I'm not 110% excited. What tribe are you a part of? Oh, you said, it's the Poospatuck Reservation, which is next to the Shinnecox out Long Island, and it's the Unkachug tribe. So, and my father is Black. My mother is, Spaniard, Filipino, indigenous, like all those mixtures and stuff up in there. But my father is a Black man, and my mother's the one that's mixed with all the things. And because it was like, look, my great grandfather on my mother's side is from Spain. My great grandmother on my grandfather's side, my mother's father is, Filipino, and then we have like my grandmother's mother from my mother's mother's mother, I should say, is American Indian, that sort of thing. And then my grandfather is Filipino. So it's a whole mixture, with all the different sides. It's like it's hard to explain. But it's like Netflix had to do original program because every studio wanted the cash. But it's why I said, like, you know what? Not all of them should have had. Well, Netflix was the gold standard. Because I remember when I was doing Netflix back when it was like you could rent, what was it, 5 DVDs, and then we would just get them. My father would just record the movies, and we'd have like a little collection of blank discs with all the shows and the movies and stuff on it. That's what he was doing. He would sit up and he would copy like the movies, and we pretty much have it as part of our collection. Then they got into the digital space because physical media started going on its way out with the whole rental. So now it's like, let's create the thing, let's go digital, and it actually works. And you just do a subscription fee. But then with the success of Netflix, then everybody wanted to jump into the bandwagon. The one thing I will give Sony, even though that CEO over there is clueless and don't know what the hell he's talking about, the one thing I will give Sony is the fact that they're the only ones who decided not to create a damn streaming service. That was a smart thing. Let me just go rent our stuff out to the Netflixes and the Paramount Plus, or the Prime videos, and we'll get money from that. That's the smart thing to do, instead of trying to be greedy and hoard your own IP over on this network, and then you trying to spend years burning money. Disney just got into the place of accumulating back or recouping the money that they were losing out on. So everybody doesn't need a streaming service. I feel like everybody else should have gotten smart, and we should have just kept it, which was what? Prime Video was a good enough channel. Apple TV is good. Netflix, Hulu. I feel like that's it. We don't need a Paramount Plus. Paramount should have just been outsourcing their stuff to other channels. Like, I don't understand, like, how we got Paramount Plus, right? But I just looked, and SWAT, which is a CBS show, is on Netflix. They just added Equalizer with Queen Latifah. So why do y'all have a streaming service, but then you're outsourcing your material to other, and even Evil is on Netflix too. So why am I even subscribing to Paramount Plus? Well, I guess it's because of All Stars and Drag Race. They have all that stuff on there. Although I kind of wish they would put the American Drag Race stuff on World of Wonder. If they would have had that on there, that would have been great. Also, a friend of mine said that they should have just turned Logo into World of Wonder channel. They probably would have had to pay a fee for that. Bring back Boomerang. What, with Eddie Murphy? 2024 wasn't a good year for the Black man. It ends with the top NYPD involved with pay now. Sex for child. I can't stand, you already know I can't stand Mayor Adams. Well, I told y'all, they said they spotted his ass up in the club in the back, getting his having a bunch of girls with big clappers all over him while he in the back smoking the hookah with the strippers, Dominican strippers. So he out here worrying about everything else other than actually being the mayor of New York City. So we got the NYPD being corrupt. We got a horrible damn mayor. We got Diddy in jail. Wait, is today we supposed to find out about Austin Wolf? I was checking earlier and I didn't see no stuff on him yet. So if I don't if the stuff doesn't come around, then I'll probably wait until next week to do a story on that. But yeah, I was looking earlier for any Austin Wolf updates and I didn't see any. 2025 is the first year of Gen Alpha. Oh, so we don't even have Gen Alpha yet? I thought we did. You said Gen Beta 2024 is the last year of Gen Alpha. So yeah, because I was like, Gen Alpha, we already had them already. So yeah, then we're going to have Gen Generation Beta, and then after what's Gen C, Gen Kappa. So now we're going into fraternity numbers. So we got Omega. Then what is that? The next one, Omega Beta Zeta. Now shout out to Scream 2, the love affair of Elon and Maga. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Oh yeah, I sent you something on that. It was like, yeah, we all knew that was going to happen before he even gets in office, because Elon overstepping his boundaries. I don't care how much Ozempic you inject in your damn gut. He's still ugly, and nobody likes him. Talk about somebody who lacks actual emotional and verbal cues. Would that make him autistic? Shout out to the autistic community. Y'all don't deserve to have that man as somebody who is a part of the whole autism spectrum. Y'all don't, because that man is just insufferable. But anyway, hold on, let me get to this last comment. It said, "Did you see Adam's D-lister drill rapper song perform?" Oh, you talking about his son? Oh, did you see Adam's D-lister drill rapper's son performing in Gracie Mansion with a crackhead dancer? Okay. I was like, first of all, when a friend of mine sent me that stuff in the group chat, I told you I belong to so many damn group chats. That's why I gotta be watching what I put in there. Some I be sending like when it comes to entertainment stuff, then there's some I be having to send adult stuff, penises and butts and things. So I gotta be careful with those. So a friend of mine sent me that. I was like, I didn't even know Eric Adams' ugly ass even had children. Omega Beta Zeta would be a cute drag name. Oh, Omega Beta Sega. Well, Omega Beta Zeta. That was the fraternity sorority. Sorry, that CC Cooper was a part of in Scream 2, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yeah, we don't know him. I think Elon did say something about he had I think not asparagus syndrome. You mean ass burgers? Yeah, you an ass burger, all right. Ain't nobody putting their face up in them cheeks. Elon Musk does have autism. They're good at some. They're good at something. Yeah, they're good at. He's probably good at with the missiles and all this stuff, but he lacks emotional cues. Like he's just someone who is just. You're not a people person, or you just don't understand, I guess, emotion or being around people. I don't know. He's an idiot. I'll just say that. And I don't care how much damn money you have and stuff, which of course he got that from his damn daddy to, as a launch of building whatever he needed to build. Yeah, exactly. Ass burgers. That's what I be saying when I be thinking that's like an ass burger. I mean, I do like a fur burger, as y'all know, I do like to eat the cheeks every now and again. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Wendy Williams. How you doing? So Wendy Williams is back in the news again. So we already talked about, the Sabrina Morrissey was out here saying that Wendy is incapacitated, and she pretty much, like, the way she was talking, like she was a full vegetable version of herself. But from the looks of this following video that I'm about to show y'all, she seemed far from incapacitated, because they were saying around the time when after her son's graduation, she was cussing out her caretakers. Hold on, because I just realized something. I misspelled graduation. So let's put that back in there. And take two. Yeah, I was like, what's graduation? Now it's graduation. I'm glad I caught that. Look, we make that. Ain't no shame in my game when I be messing up over here in these live streets. So yeah, and back to the whole Wendy Williams situation. She pretty much cussed out her damn caretakers because she said that when they were trying to get the car, they got the wrong car and they left her scooter unattended. And she paid a lot of money for it. So if y'all gonna make a whole lot of money off of her, y'all need to be doing your damn job. And in the beginning, I made a mistake because, child, why is Snatch Game trending? Oh, I know why Snatch Game is trending, because Canada's Drag Race, they said that Snatch Game was a mess. But we'll talk about that another time. So I do have the clip of Wendy going in, because I actually thought she was, from when I saw the clip, I thought she was cussing out her son and her nephew because they was in the picture. But I happened to see a whole video, and it wasn't her son and her nephew that she was cussing out, who both got the same sideshow bob dreadlocks. And her son was basically trying to figure out what the hell was going on in regards to these, her people messing up per usual. So let's get to the clip and we'll come back and we'll talk.
The guy who was in the Uber, he was like, and then both of you walked away, leaving my in the middle of the street like this. Just get the car, please. Make sure it's the right car.
Wendy, what happened? What they do?
They got the wrong car. So I knocked on the door, and it was totally wrong car. They left my scooter as they walked over there, leaving my most precious, this cost a me.
Wow.
They just left my out there. Get the car over here, not over.
Hold on. Did y'all catch it when he did that full Yui? I was like, you want to know something? Now, who definitely serves it in regards of like that? With the scooter, she has mastered the art of rolling around with that scooter. Now, who, in my opinion, is the best with the whole scooter situation? Is it her or Roland Ray? Hold on, let's go back because I got to see that again. Especially with Wendy out here cussing people out. Go ahead, Auntie Wendy.
Me.
Wow.
They just left my out there. Get the car over here, not over there. So I can go easily into the street for the car. You're supposed to be ordering the car. That's what you're supposed to be doing. They want to work for me, that's what they're doing. They're making money for me, get the goddamn car.
The guy who was in the Uber, he was like,
And then both of you walked away, leaving my in the middle of the street like this. Just get the car, please. Make sure it's the right.
Okay, so Wendy out here pissed off at y'all for not doing what needs to be done in regards to her whole situation. So what happened was they were at a restaurant. They were leaving the restaurant. They left her without her scooter as they was leaving. And that's her mobility scooter because she has the lymphedema. It makes her hard for her to. She said I don't know how much percentage she has, but I remember before the Where's Wendy Williams and all the other stuff was coming out, she said that it left her limited mobility or feeling of her feet. It was at 10% feeling that she had in her feet, which makes it difficult for her to walk for a long period of time. So she needs a scooter to get around. And yeah, she's big mad at y'all because y'all not doing what needs to be done. So if this is how y'all treating her just to get to the damn car, then how are y'all treating her behind the scenes when she's in the care of all these other people? Because the other day, the last show that we did, and this was like before we went on a little mini vacay for Christmas, her son Kevin is the no good ass ex-husband of hers. Kevin got on the internet because Charlamagne had sent him a little best wishes, whatever, for his graduation, and was giving people an update about his mother and was like that she is sober. She has not been drinking. She's definitely been taking care of herself, and she wants to come home and be around her family. And she did say, like, you know what? It cost the effing mint, which is such an old school term. We're talking about that this was definitely, like, that scooter is expensive. And yes, scooters are expensive. Because I was wondering too, because sometimes when I be seeing these little kids in these wheelchairs because of they're disabled, whatever the case is, I'm like, yeah, as they get older, you have to keep upgrading those wheelchairs. So I can imagine, based off of insurance or whatever the case is, you're even going to get into a whole conversation about insurance denial, all this stuff. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But how expensive a lot of these wheelchairs are. Everything, it seemed like, to even live in this world is freaking expensive. So this says members of her team then took the scooter outside, and she later accused them of leaving it unattended before heading off somewhere else in the street. The video then cut to Williams once again talking to her caretakers and said, "Get the car over here, not over there, so I can go easily into the street for the car." So Wendy be out here just cussing people out, being rude as hell, but that's her. So yeah, so now the host of, so basically, Stunt Lifestyle actually happened to get the video and stuff, and I think that's who, you saw the, what it said, We in Miami podcast. They were the one that had the exclusive video, so shout out to them. And basically was talking about at the end of the video, her son had taken the scooter outside to allow her to walk on her own while leaving the eatery. So it says, so I think according to Wendy's family, she was really upset about the disorganization and the lack of care. She indicated the car was not close to assure she was like even getting into the right car. It was just really messy, and she was really upset, and her family was really upset too. Now, last week on Thursday, Williams made a public rare appearance as she attended her son's, Kevin Jr. Graduation from Florida International University. Now, the former talk show host was seen in her mobility scooter while wearing a dark gray sparkling sequin ensemble. She was also joined by her father, Thomas Williams Sr., at the event, and her sister, Wanda Finney, was there as well. Now, photos from inside show the mom of one beaming as Kevin Jr. received his diploma in a traditional blue college robe. Now, at one point, she also appeared emotional as she watched her only son walk the stage. The star shares the college graduate with ex-husband Calvin Hunter, whom she was married to from 1999 until the divorce was finalized in 2020. And as stated before, Williams' son also gave an update on his mother's health after basically, she was accused of being permanently incapacitated by Sabrina Morrissey. And I told y'all earlier, Charlamagne congratulated Kevin Jr. on his accomplishment. And that's when Kevin took to, the comment section to basically say thank you and then shed more light on what his mother's been going through, basically saying that, she's sober and she basically wants to come home and they're fighting to make that happen. And from what was stated, they were trying to say next Kelvin was going to law school. And I'm like, I didn't know anything about whether or not, I'm wondering if, because I was confused by the situation. I think Charlamagne said that in the comments, next stop law school. Lil Kev hasn't come out and said that that's where he's going, but I could definitely see that that would be the direction that he would want to take, especially because if I'm going to law school, it's because I'm wanting to fight the disparities that my mother is dealing with these, the system regarding the whole conservatorship type situation. And I do feel like when, a lot of times when you have a family member or you're going through something, it does inspire people to go into that venue or go into that field to want to go up against it. It's kind of like what I was saying about Gia Giudice when I was bringing about her father being deported. That inspired her to get into law because of her father being deported and then her trying to understand the system and stuff. So sometimes, some people jump to that, and I could definitely see Lil Kev doing that, for the sake of his mother. So, and there go Lil Kev in little short shorts. We start being messy. Look, he's of age. Wendy don't have an ugly child though. He's a cutie. So yeah, let's leave it there. So when I went over to the We in Miami podcast, who was busy pretty much talking about, the dissatisfaction between the caretakers. Some people in the comments said, Wendy don't sound incapacitated to me. She knows exactly what's going on. She should be with her family. Hashtag free Wendy. Another person said, who's monitoring the Guardians? Hashtag free Wendy. And that's why I was like, yeah, we definitely need to keep an eye on these Guardians, because I do feel like a lot of times when you have people, even if it's family, because hello, we're about to talk about Britney coming up later on in the show, that Britney had someone who was part of her family that was her caretaker, and you saw what Jamie did to her. And now you have strangers who have no attachment to Wendy except for being caretakers and getting paid to do whatever they want, so they don't have to follow the rules. And they treating her any old way. So you need people up in there that that understand the legal jargon and all other stuff. So there's like, you're not going to sit up here and take advantage of my mother. So another person said, I bet the Bozo Guardian hates this trip. Been documented. Grade A full expose is in order. Wendy, despite any ailments, looks and sounds good. I pray she's able to be reunited with her family in 2025. Another person said, having Wendy Williams exit the restaurant and go to the wrong car is a setup. Having her wait outside for the right car is also a setup. How? I need you to explain that a little bit more. Another person said, absolutely, she should be upset. Wendy is Wendy. Stop lying on her people. Love you, Wendy. So happy for us to see for ourselves. She is strong and still confident. But that's not sitting there saying that she doesn't have the dementia and all other stuff. She's still, deep down inside, Wendy's still there, and she's going to give you the business if you're not doing what needs to be done, especially if you're working for me. Hashtag free Wendy until it's backwards. We need to do the same thing to get her free like they did for Britney Spears, for good, bad, or indifferent. Or I should say for better or for worse. And another person said, well, she's in her right mind, that's for sure. I love Wendy. Another person said, protect Wendy at all costs. She's an icon for television. And last but certainly not least, because I'm going to sit there and read all this. Oh wait, no, but let's do two more because they're gonna say my favorite part. So another person said, was this really something to get this upset about? SMH. Well, if you are Wendy Williams and you're an industry person, the littlest thing sets them off. Yes, if the right nail shade isn't what needs to be done, they pop off. But this is how a lot of these celebrities are. A lot of them are entitled, a lot of them spoiled, a lot of them act like a bunch of damn arrogant SOBs. So yes, a lot of them get upset over the little thing. I'm not saying it's right, but yeah, she got upset over the fact that she's trying to get, she's about the wrong car situation. But I think it's also other things are at play here. She doesn't like the fact that she's being controlled by these other people and she wants to be around her family. She doesn't want to be around these damn strangers who are making money off her and she doesn't have control over her life. Because Wendy's always been someone who has been absolutely independent and didn't want people telling her what to do. So I think there's a lot of things at play here. And last but certainly not least, someone said, she looks great. Get her, Wendy. How you doing? So there's that. But so shout out to We in Miami because yeah, they had the video of the clip that we saw. I really hope that she ends up in the graces of, her family and that she gets to be around people who actually love and genuinely care about her. So I'm sure, as I've said many a time, Wendy Williams is a mentor in my head. She is definitely someone who has inspired me to really get into the whole YouTube podcasting space and spill the tea. Not like how she does, but in my own way. So yes, Wendy has always been, as she would say, a friend in my head. She's been a mentor in my head. So I'm praying for her. I'm hoping that she gets, the freedom that she does, she deserves. She gets to go and be with her family. And once she does get to be with her family, I really hope that the family does what they need to do to take care of her and don't be taking advantage of her like them damn people over there is taking advantage of her that's making money off of her. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regard to Wendy cussing out the people that have been her court-appointed guardians or whatever the case is? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Please and thank you. Okay, so you said Wendy raised a big dummy dependent son. He should get a job. Well, I guess that is his job. And what kind of job? Because, when you are the child of a celebrity, a lot of these kids can't run out here and just start doing regular jobs because y'all will clown them. Can you imagine Blue Ivy working at Shake Shack? Y'all will read Beyonce down to the floor. Why is your daughter working up in here? You can't be having her working up in this thing and taking her pictures and all this other stuff. Like, we about to get into this story about the dude from the Cosby Show. Because when you are someone who is a celebrity and of a certain status, people take pictures because it's like y'all want to clown on them or you want to kind of look down on them. Like, some people do things for clout reasons. Like, it's like, to me, when you do what you got to do to be able to pay your bills, there ain't no shame in my game. Like, I don't look down on nobody that's out here trying to just do a job that works for them. But when you have people who do it because like, oh, I want to go viral on social media because I saw Elvin from the Cosby Show working at Trader Joe's, working the cashier, and you trying to do it because you want to be cute, but then it backfires. That's the thing I don't like. So it's like, what is Lil Kev going to do? When you are the only child of Wendy Williams, I can't see him working a regular job anywhere. Back in the 90s when she had a show with Skeletor. I do remember Skeletor. Wendy was a big yes, she was. And it was like she went cold turkey on the booger sugar, but then I think she traded one drug for another, and now she went from the coke to the alcohol. But then again, when it comes down to it, people don't look at alcohol as a drug, but it is because it's legal. Now that her son is a graduate, I guess the child support ends. No, she'll always take care of him. Wendy's son looks like the surviving Millie Vanilli. Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But anyway, speaking of Cosby Show, yeah, let's talk about Geoffrey Owens. So y'all remember Geoffrey Owens, who actually played Elvin Thibodeau, however you say it in French, on the what is it, 6-time Emmy Award winning series. So we hadn't heard from him in a month of Sundays. Then it came around a time that we, someone took his picture of him working at a Trader Joe's, I believe in New York. And I think, like I said, I think they were doing it as a way to try to clown him or whatever the case was. But I looked at it as, to me personally, when I look at celebrities, you would think like, yeah, when it comes down to it, the goal of when you're a struggling actor trying to make it, you do the bartending, you do the part-time gigs and all the other stuff, the bartending, the working as a waiter, maybe you are a cashier somewhere working part-time, but then when it's time to go out and audition, you got to do those other gigs. It's like, yeah, I got to go, I got to be able to do these auditions, I got to do this performance, whatever the case is, and then hopefully you get it, hopefully you don't, but if you don't, then it's like, you got a little income coming in, and then you got to pay your dues, whatever. So, but when you make it, it's like, yeah, I'm done with pounding the pavement and struggling because now I made it in Hollywood. That's supposed to be the dream, right? That you go and you eventually make it in Hollywood. But then you have people who is like, yeah, but the roles are not coming in as often as they could because I want to give it to the same 5 white people. You don't want any kind of diversity. So now it's like the well is run dry. So now I'm out here struggling. So since then, he wound up quitting after he was exposed. And then now he went on a recent podcast and said after everything, even when people, helped him out financially, and I'll even get to some of the people that actually helped him out, Nicki Minaj being one of them, he said he's still struggling to make ends meet. So Cosby Show actor Geoffrey Owens said he's still struggling to make ends meet after he was forced to quit his job at Trader Joe's grocery store amid an attack on my privacy. And that was, in his words, quote, attack on my privacy. Now, Owens' best known for his role as Elvin Thibodeau on the 6-time Emmy-winning series, claimed that he's not much better off today than he was when a customer snapped a photo of the actor working behind the grocery store register in 2018. Even today, right now, as we speak, I still struggle to make a living, Owens told Atlanta's V103 station on December 18th, saying, I struggle every day to make my ends meet, and people can't get their heads around that because they see me in movies, which has been the overall conversation about, yeah, just because you see me on TV and in movies and stuff does not mean that I'm still not out here struggling. It's like, yeah, I can probably get paid more than you get to see in a year on a film set. But you got to realize in between those times, I'm still like and there's not steady gigs coming in. I'm not Timothy Chalamet, so I don't have like back to back movies. So that's not happening for me right now. Or I don't even know why I even equated him with a white man. Because, the white people always get stuff thrown at them first before everybody else. Although there will be some that say that they struggle. But let's go with people of color. It's like he's not on the same level as like, this big sitcom actor. He was on a hit sitcom. And you have to also think that, you know what? Since the allegations about Bill Cosby came out, The Cosby Show was not being played in syndication. So there's no residuals coming from The Cosby Show. And I love The Cosby Show. I ain't like Bill Cosby, but I like the show. And it was long before we knew about the R-word allegations. It was the way that he would thumb his nose up against anybody who was working class because he thought because I'm Dr. Cosby and I'm Mr. Upper Echelon Black that I was better than, people who grew up in the hood and single mothers, how he would thumb their nose at them and y'all need to pull y'all pants up. There were certain things that he would say to the Black community that it's kind of like gave me this disconnect that he was one of those elite upper echelon Blacks, like the Kamala Harris types, the Sorors and the fraternity types and all those uppity Black folk versus a lot of the pull him up by their bootstraps Black people that he would kind of look down upon. So I never liked that side about Bill Cosby, but I love the show and I love A Different World, but him as a person, I never liked him based off of how he would come across as very pompous. So, hold on. What else did he say? So it said Owens' residual checks were never particularly wonderful because he only acted in maybe 20% of the shows of the hit series. But you have to also realize too, yeah, he and Sandra were barely on the old episodes of The Cosby Show, and he was never really a part of the cast. It was always the main cast member. So it was always Vanessa, Theo, Rudy, Claire, Cliff, and sometimes it was Denise until she ended up being pushed over on A Different World because she got pregnant with Zoe Kravitz, and then they fired her. Well, Bill Cosby pompous ass did. But she was always kind of like the black sheep. But then Sandra was barely on the show too. I never understood how the hell two dark-skinned people was able to create two light-skinned children. I never got that, but okay. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother because I'm like, Sandra and Denise, but we do get like Jean or whatever the case is, like, there were periods of black parents, blacks were, black women were R-worded by, the plantation owners, the slaves. So you could create those mixed babies. But I'm like, you looking at Cliff and Claire, I'm like, I don't see it. But then again, some people would say like, yeah, because it's like I have a dark-skinned father and a light-skinned mother. I got my mother's complexion, a lot of her gene stuff, but my brother is dark-skinned. So it just depends on the situation. But anyway, somebody said people have a false impression of what average middle-class actor makes and their ability to make a living in the industry. Now, the Yale University graduate and son of former New York Congressman Major Owens took a regular job and went mostly unnoticed until he was photographed working at Trader Joe's. At first, there was some negative stuff about basically the job shaming, at where's he now kind of thing, Owens told V103. But then, very soon after that, there was all this support and encouragement from all over the world. Now, Owens was worried about his invasion of privacy, so he left the job before the new gig went public. Saying it was strange because someone had been in the store taking pictures, Owen recalled, and I was like, now this is breaking. I'm not going to feel comfortable working in the store, wondering who's around with the camera. It would just be too weird. I'm a very private person. It wasn't like I quit knowing I would be making a lot of money soon or anything. I just felt like I wasn't going to be able to handle that kind of scrutiny attack on my privacy. And so, yeah, there is kind of shade. It was like, well, where's he now? And while it's cute, I was like, yeah, well, now he went from being on a hit TV show to bagging groceries at Trader Joe's. It's like, yeah, it's a ha-ha, kiki moment. But there's nothing to laugh about when you out here making fun of a celebrity because, yeah, they're not getting a lot of roles in Hollywood. But yeah, I do love the fact that a lot of people turned and was like, you know what, we're gonna give an outpouring of support to what it was that he was dealing with. So now they also said that shout out to Nicki Minaj, she sent him $25,000, but he donated the money to a charity because he didn't feel right to keep it without working for it. Excuse you? Like I would have gave a little bit of the money to charity, but see, this is pride coming before the fall. It's getting very bad. I get your pride situation, but ain't no way in hell I'm donating all $25,000 to a charity. Like that's noble of you, sir, and that's great. But I would have donated some of the money to a charity, but I would have kept some of that for mine because I'm like, shit, I got bills to pay. But if that's what helps you sleep at night, be my guest. If you like it, I love it. And then said, but he gladly accepted work in dozens of projects, including acting gigs with powerhouses like Tyler Perry on the show The Haves and the Have-Nots, and the 50 Cent produced show Power and Power Book 2 Ghost. Now, Owens currently stars on the CBS sitcom Papa's House, starring Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr. The actor admitted that after the headlines calmed down, he went back to Trader Joe's while acting and asked for more hours because money was and is still tight. Bill Cosby, the star of the titular sitcom, had his fall from grace with numerous allegations, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to get into all that because we know about the Bill Cosby stuff. I already covered it. So it's funny how they was like, yeah, I need more hours because money is still tight. See, now, if we would have had Bill Back Better and all that other stuff that was going on, instead of people like Kristen Sinema, them fake Democrats, her and oh my God, who is that? I don't like John Fetterman ass either. He's another piece of shit. He think because he wears sweatsuits and stuff in Congress that makes him such a revolutionary. But it's like, no, you're a secret MAGA supporter too. But if we would have had opportunities where we would raise the minimum wage on other stuff, people would not still be out here struggling. And I like the fact that he is getting roles and stuff. I don't know how well that Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr. sitcom is doing because I don't really watch a lot of sitcoms and I don't watch network television. But I don't know how well that show is doing, but I'm glad he's got a little something coming in. And I'm hoping that, I don't know how big his role is on that. I do hope that, I don't want to put all this pressure on Tyler Perry, but if a lot of you black actors are running around here like Kerry Washington and so many of you others and Whoopi Goldberg about how she felt seen for the first time with Tyler Perry being on his shows or whatever, then I feel like, you know what, Tyler, since you love taking the control and the reins and writing everything yourself because nobody understands your voice better than you, I'm a little pressure on you to get Elvin a little bit more roles and stuff because he's struggling out here in these streets. There's a lot of actors out here struggling out here in these streets and need the opportunity. So I'm rooting for him to be able to still get out here. I don't like, well, he did say he was asking for more stuff at Trader Joe's. So I guess he's back there working in between and doing the acting gigs. But you know what? Shout out to him as, an avid Cosby Show fan. It's sad to see not only this happening to him, even though he had a small little role on that show, but just actors in general. There's a lot of actors out here who talk about this overall struggle that they go through with trying to make ends meet because the roles just aren't pouring in like they used to. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are regarding Geoffrey Owens, let me know in the comments down below. It says Scissors Lana is set to debut at #1 off streams and digital downloads alone. Yeah, because they're about buying the physical stuff. So yeah, them streamers is definitely gonna hit. And you said so many YouTube videos of screaming foul saying Lana is a separate album, not a deluxe. Well, tomato. I guess y'all gonna have to just windmill on your own with all that foolishness, because there was a lot of songs in that damn album. It was like 30 something. Trump has asked the Supreme Court to pause the law that would ban TikTok on January 19th. So they definitely said they was going to step in and do that. Look, so far, I may not like Trump on a lot of stuff, but if he's able to put the kibosh on the whole on the TikTok ban, then more power to him. Because a lot of people make their living off of that. And one of the things I will say this, because I watched this clip of Clay Aiken doing an interview with Zach Sang, and he was talking about that, say what you want about Trump and stuff. The reason why he acts the way he does, because at the end of the day, he wants to be loved. And it's sad that he doesn't get that love. Maybe, I guess, he didn't get it from his parents, and he damn sure ain't getting it from his kids and the women that he was in bed with. So, he doesn't like people not liking him. Especially like if it's in his base. That's why he flip-flops so damn much. When he comes for something and his base gets pissed off at him, he backs off. He wants to be loved and loved unconditionally. Kevin Spacey was innocent of homosexual rape, but was still canceled. That is true. He lost his house because he wasn't getting any roles. Do you have a couch to spare? No, I don't. It is I didn't know he was Major Owens. I didn't know that either until I read that. I'm like, Major Owens, that's who your daddy was? And it's like, I remember Major Owens. Why can't the fellow actors hook them up with work? Look, all this Nepo baby stuff that's going on, I'm surprised, right? It's like Beyonce hooking Blue Ivy up with a job, Madonna hooking her kids up with a job. You got Ryan Phillippe training his son with the acting, and you got Emmy, Jennifer Lopez child and Ben Affleck child in a play together in school. So, the celebrities out here, Nepo and their children. Seem like that's the new grift. But anyway, we have about 3 more topics until we are done with today's show. But if you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm almost at 2K, so I'm excited. Even though, this is the little independent show that could. I'm just always happy when I get, each subscription that happens that goes along. It's definitely helping build this channel, so that way I can get a little more coin in my pocket on top of the other jobs that I be doing. Because a bitch got bills to pay. So without further ado, let's get into this Britney talk, who got to reunite with her son Jayden after 2 years of not seeing him. So Britney was certainly lucky this Christmas. Now, according to Billboard, they said that best Christmas of my life. That's what she said. Haven't seen my boys in 2 years. This is what the Baby One More Time singer wrote on Wednesday, December 25th. Tears of joy and literally in shock every day. Cuckoo crazy, so in love and blessed. She loves her exclamation points. Exclamation points. I'm speechless. Thank you, Jesus. 3 more exclamation points. Now, her post included a video comprised of clips of the two having phone together. And I have the clip. I'm going to keep my opinion to myself. But we gonna watch this clip. But I'm gonna just say this: y'all wanted her to be free. Y'all said hashtag free Britney, and she free. But I don't know who this personality of hers that showed up standing next to Jayden. But let's just play the clip.
Hello.
Willkommen. Most sind die Hilfshilfen. Was ist immer Baby?
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
The fire, what? So hello, Osby and Jayden.
Hello.
Hello. Was you voting?
Hello.
Willkommen. Most sind die Hilfshilfen. Was ist immer Baby?
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
See, she turned off the comments because she ain't want y'all up in there dragging her. Come on, Jayden. Come on, Jayden. I'm like, who is that showed up? Because that was not Britney. That was one of her personalities. But see, I said I wasn't gonna say nothing, but you know, this mouth child, the personalities in my head just be making me say shit that I want to be up in here saying. But look, y'all said free Britney, and she free. But she had on that mushy mascara, the messy hair. She looked like she was drunk. But anyway, so it's her post included a video comprised of clips of them having fun together, blah, 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 so on and so forth. She also shares Jayden with 19-year-old son, Sean Preston, who I don't think was there. I didn't see him, but I saw with Jayden. You know, those are the two children she had with Kevin Federline. She and the dancer, you know, married in September of 2004 and finalized their divorce just shy of 3 years later on July 2007. The young men moved to Hawaii with their father, who received custody of them after the couple split. According to People, the pop star also saw her younger son in early November when he visited her at her LA home. The pop icon detailed her rise to fame, relationship with ex Kevin Federline, being a mother, her conservatorship, and all of that in Her Woman and Me memoir, which is being turned into a movie, or should we call biopic, that's going to be directed by John M. Chu, who you know directed Wicked. So I'm actually excited to see what John M. Chu is going to concoct with this, because if he turned Wicked into a masterpiece, you definitely know that he's probably got some really cool ideas that he can turn, you know, this Britney biopic into a, you know, into whatever he's going to turn it into. So I'm actually excited for that. You know, for better or for worse on Britney's mental health, I am glad that she is out here actually reuniting with one of her sons. I don't know what her issue is with Sean, or she's like to call him Preston. Whatever the issues are, I'm hoping they work it out. But I do love the fact that her youngest, Jayden, is trying to make it work with, you know, with his mother. So, you know, shout out to you, Britney. Good luck on everything. And yeah, that's all I got to say on that. I'm not going to go any further than what I need to go and say what I said with Britney. But you know what? Good luck to you, sis. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Britney reuniting with one of her sons? I'm really hoping that, you know what? Because yeah, the child support payments, all that other stuff dried up. I hope this is not a reason why he's trying to get into good graces with his mother, because the child support is done, and now it's like, okay, I'm trying to make an effort. Only one of them at least. So for better or for worse, I'm just glad that, you know, Britney has been able to finally forge a relationship with one of her sons at least. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. It says Satan's Little Helper movie is weird. It's on Shudder. Did they just put that there? I don't think I saw that. Or hold on. Let me check. Because I'm like, there must be a new movie or whatever the case. But I was like, who is calling me? It's my damn job. Hold on. Let me go to the Shutter. They must have just dropped that up there. Why does it keep asking me to log into my Shutter? It's freaking annoying. Like, can y'all stop asking me to consistently log into my stuff? There was a movie that was up here that I was watching. I was like, that movie was boring. Last Straw was actually cute, that I had saw on there. I got to do speaking of which, I need to do my best horror films of 2024 list. I'll probably do that next week. I already have it listed. It's already on the channel. So I need to pull it up, and then we could just discuss it as a class. on here, as well as my most anticipated movies. There's a whole bunch. I got to get all that done this weekend. So yeah, most anticipated films of 2025. I got to do my I already have my list of favorite movies of 2024. I need to do that and add all the bells and whistles in that, and then upload it. So there's a lot. I re-listened to her Blackout album, and I loved it even more so than before. It really stood the test. Yeah, it is definitely a good record. Shout out to Danger, who did his thing on that album. I still fear of her being used. Yeah, because she's always putting herself around some of the wrong people. He said, "I finally saw the original Black." Bro, where you been? He said, "I finally saw the original Black Christmas, and It's a Wonderful Knife." It's a Wonderful Knife. I thoroughly enjoyed. Yeah, that was a good one. Black Christmas, absolutely love that movie. The original one with Margot Kidder. Love that movie. I know they remade it down the road. That was a weird freaking movie where the guy up in the attic, the killer, went and had sex with his mother and then wound up having a kid. That was such a freaking bizarre movie. But the original one, absolutely love that movie. The ending of it always confused me because I'm like, was her boyfriend the killer? Was he not the killer? So, and then it was very much the call was coming from inside the house, very much like another movie. What was it? When a Stranger Calls. It kind of had that whole vibe. Although When a Stranger Calls, in my opinion, the opening sequence with the calls coming from inside the house, that's the best part of the movie. After that, I don't watch the film because I don't like the rest of the movie. The opening sequence is the best part. The rest of the movie is boring. So I pretty much bail on When a Stranger Calls after the opening sequence, which of course is where Scream got its inspiration from. So, but yeah, Black Christmas is actually a good movie. Now you might get me to want to watch that tonight because I haven't seen that in a minute. I was going to watch it on Christmas Day, but I was just like, I had too much stuff that I was watching. Like I was watching, what did I watch? I don't know. I got into this whole older movie movies I had seen before. I don't know. For some reason, I wanted to watch John Wick, and then I was watching Carry On, and then I was watching all these. So I was kind of like in this die-hard action movie phase on Christmas Day while I was, cooking me my Christmas meal. Okay, so now, what do we have? Okay, so we got our second to the last topic. Let's get into this tea regarding Drag Race Queen Tayce, who just made history for winning Strictly Come Dancing, which is the original Dancing with the Stars, because nothing original comes out of America. Why it is it's kept. Now, Strictly Come Dancing, the original UK series that aired for 20 years on the BBC and was adapted into Dancing with the Stars in the US, just made history on Wednesday, December 25th, speaking of Christmas, by crowning RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 2 star Tayce as the first ever drag queen to win any season of Strictly Come Dancing around the world. Yeah, because we had Shangela on our season and she didn't win. But so there's that. Okay, so now Tate's casting alone had already been historic as the first ever drag competitor of the US series. However, winning the Glitter Ball trophy made her appearance on the show even more legendary. Now, according to Pink News, they said the performer has perfectly shut down claims that her success could take the show in a very different direction. Now, Tate and her dance partner Kai Witherington were crowned as the winners of this year's Christmas special after being praised by Judge Craig Revell Horwood for the Cha-Cha, which they performed to 100 Degrees by Kylie and Danny Minogue. Now, they won tens across the entire judging panel for the routine with Tayce, who is a homosexual and uses she, her pronouns while in drag, beating the likes of podcaster Vogue Williams, who danced to Gorka Marquez, Gladiator and Olympian Harry Akinis Arguiti? Who? I don't tell. Who? It's like these names. With Nancy Shue, actress Tasmin Oathwaite with Nikita Kuzmin, and racing driver and TV presenter Billy Munger with Nadia Bichkova. Oh, girl, your name is Bichkova? Well, they do be saying a lot of you Russians be very bitchy. So, yeah, there she is doing her cho-cha in the wig. And you know what? I do like the idea of seeing drag queens doing a Dancing with the Stars. Like, cause come on, hair, the hair's laid. Look at it. It's just good old human hair. She better work. But anyway, let's get back to the thing while y'all watch that in the background, because I'm just sitting up here getting distracted when I'm supposed to be covering this story. However, they said the clip was shared on Strictly's official Instagram account of their winning number. One commenter expressed confusion about Tayce's character/persona. The commenter seemed to believe that her inclusion is akin to including characters from soap operas and TV shows on the dance competition series, appearing to disregard Tayce's identity. Wait, I'm confused by that. They said her inclusion is akin to including characters from soap operas and TV shows. She's not on the soap. She was a part of a reality competition show, which, if you look at Strictly Come Dancing, is a reality competition show. Like I said, when we were in America, we had the only drag queen I could think of off the top of my head. I think Shangela is the only queen from Drag Race, controversies aside, that performed on Dancing with the Stars. So now, personally, I really enjoyed Tayce, but think her appearance could open the door for the show taking a very different direction, which is what the commenter wrote. To this, Tayce had the perfect response and simply replied, "I am me." So yeah, I'm really trying to understand what the hell this person talking about in regards to like, what kind of window are you trying to say that she's going to open, or the show's going to take a different direction? Is it basically mean that you feel that the show is going to just now have mostly drag queens on the show? Because the people in the comments over at Strictly Come Dancing said, oh, Elliot with 2 T's came up in here and said something and said, work at its Tate's, and put like a bunch of hand claps and red shoes. The polyamorous said, yes. Now another queen said, give us a drag queen for the main series. Tia Coffee dropped in and said, so proud of my sis. Bimini was like, get it. Another queen went and said, those lips, the nerve, gumption, and gall, and the audacity, our queen. And child, not bing bang bong. Now, if y'all know UK Hun, you know what they were talking about. Another person said, killed it. Another person said, funking brilliant, super proud, dad here. Love you. Wait, hold. Oh, wait, my mic went out? Yes, it did. I don't know if y'all can hear me. And said, Danny Minogue even jumped in. Hold on now. I was like, what is going on? Hello, hello, hello. I was like, what the hell? I was like, all of a sudden I lost sound in my freaking mic. I was like, bitch, don't tell me I gotta sit and buy a new mic between the show. But anyway, let me hold on. So stop moving around as much. Okay, and then we also had Danny Minogue jumped in the comments, said, congratulations. What a performance. 10, 10, 4 tens across the board. And then another person said everything. Another person said mother, da da da, so on and so forth. So a lot of people was up in here loving the performance, as they should, because I think she did a phenomenal job. And they also said, unfortunately, the drag artist is no stranger to navigating online hate, especially in the run-up of her appearance and win on Strictly Come Dancing, saying, I've seen hate. I've seen it's controversial. It's provocative, but that's all the things that I am and wouldn't change that for the world. This is what she said in the interview with Mail Online. Now, I don't understand what the issue is, because am I running confused? Because I didn't feel like what they said, I mean, when they went and said the comment of it could open the door for the show taking a very different direction, what are you talking about? Are you talking about that a different direction in regards of what? That they're going to have more drag queens on the show? Why not? Drag queens are performers. Drag queens definitely be get up there giving the choreography and things. Why does this cat? One of the ideas I had, I was like, why can't we should have like a Dancing with the Stars, or even like a Dance with the Stars mixed with a little So You Think You Could Dance, where you have drag queens up there performing with a male performer, and then they get up there and you got drag queens, drag kings, whatever, get them up there, dance, do their little situation, and they perform in front of a live audience. Why can't we have that? So I definitely want to see more drag queens show the art of performance, and then not just be Drag Race be the only type of drag performance that we see up here. Just like I'm very much open to see a drag king series on TV, but I saw a lot of people in the comments that were just like vehemently against it. Like they're the issue with it. But I'm like, if there's an opportunity for other people to showcase their form of drag, it is not necessarily following what Drag Race has done. Like we have so far RuPaul's Drag Race and all they spin-offs. Then we have Dragula. Then we have Drag Latina, which is hosted by Carmen Carrera over on Reverie. And then we have the other Reverie show, which is the Drag King show. So, and then we have Kit Wanda Kiki over there on Out TV. So we have other different, reiterations and versions of drag. Why can't look? The more the merrier is what I say. If the show's good, I'll check it out because I love the art of drag. I like the amount what these these homosexuals or anybody of the LGBTQIA plus or queer spectrum puts into the art of drag and showcasing different sides outside of what Drag Race entails. So shout out to you, Miss Tayce. Well deserved on your win. I still don't get what that person was implying. I feel like say what you mean and mean what you say, and don't just be pulling stuff out your behind just because you want clicks and likes and all the other foolishness. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Tayce winning Strictly Come Dancing and with them talking about whatever they could take the show in a different direction? Which I'm like, what's wrong with the show going in a different direction? Maybe they'll keep the lights on over there, Dancing with the Stars and Strictly Come Dancing, because quiet as it's kept, this whole format of the Strictly Come Dancings and these type of shows, y'all could use a little rejustification of y'all performances. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Now, speaking of Strictly Come Dancing, now this story, I actually was holding on to this for about a week because I was like, it didn't fit in any kind of a narrative we was talking about. But since we was talking about Strictly Come Dancing and they had a drag queen over there that actually won their season, the Christmas special with Tayce winning. Derek Hough over on the American side, Derek Hough is one of the judges over there on Dance with the Stars because oh my God, I totally forgot the other guy's name, the old guy that passed away over in the American version. Not Bruno Tonioli, the other one. He had the older guy had passed away. Unfortunately, I can't remember his name off the top of my damn head. But I do know Carrie in a novel because that was the way they always say her name. But so Derek Hough stepped in. And then you have Mark Ballas, because they were out there dancing with the stars since the beginning of the show or in the earlier seasons. And so they did a man-on-man tango. And now what Derek Hough and Mark Ballas, so while, Tayce is not trying to make any changes over there at Strictly Come Dancing, Derek Hough and Mark Ballas want to make changes over here in regards to how we see male-on-male performances on the long-running, or some would say long-winded, or long in the tooth, TV show of Dancing with the Stars. So I don't know if y'all saw the tango, but I do have. You can go on YouTube and see their performance. It was definitely good. I love the footwork. That's what I'll be focusing on. Like I'll be focusing on when they do some of these performances, the intricacies, the footwork, the overall technique of it all. That's what I'm always paying attention to because when you're doing a lot of these ballroom challenges or whatever, if you're like a professional dancer, it's always about the technique. Hip hop is not necessarily all about the technique and stuff. In the ways of like the foxtrot and the tango and ballet or all the other stuff. You can be a little looser when it comes to hip hop, even if it is at times intricate as well. So these are the So it says Derek Hough and Mark Ballas didn't set out to be change agents for Dancing with the Stars. Shout out to Deadline for this story, but they said while helping Hough practice for his live tour this fall, Ballas ended up partnering with his longtime pal on a few routines while Hough's wife, Haley Erbert, filmed their performances and posted them on social media. The videos of the two partnering was such a hit with fans, Hough approached Dancing with the Stars about incorporating their same-sex Argentine tango into the November 26th finale. Now, what resulted in a historic moment for the 19-year-old franchise for the first time, two men performed hand-in-hand under the mirror ball. Hough and Ballas hope it won't be a one-off for ABC's long-running variety show. So they said, we wanted to soft launch the idea of two men dancing together on Dancing with the Stars. You know what I mean? Hough tells Deadline. It's become sort of like an introduction, if you will, and left the door open for a bit for some future partnerships on the show. Now, Dancing with the Stars has always tried to be inclusive with its casting, but has stuck with heterosexual partnerships since its start on ABC in 2005, aside from a fleeting moment in season 22 when now DeMarco and Jodie Sweetin briefly switched partners during an Argentine tango, that is. Everything changed in season 30 when JoJo Siwa partnered with Jenna Johnson as the show's first same-sex partnership. The duo came in second. Well, it's also probably because it's easier pill to swallow when you have female on females performing versus male on male, which is the hypocrisy of it all. To me, in European countries, you see male on male performances all the time, and it's not a big deal. It's only in America that we have to make a big deal out of man on man stuff. Meanwhile, some of you same ones you incels that be out here throwing the shade, y'all love wrestling and UFC, which to me, a lot of that is the gayest stuff I've ever seen. And I worked at WWE yesterday. So I'm a side out a lot of them in that audience. I'm like, So some of y'all that same ones out here throwing shade at male on man dancing be the same ones that be up in here living for wrestling and some damn UFC. Now, they also said if anyone could influence ABC and BBC studios to finally feature two men dancing, it's Hough and Ballas, two influential members of the Dancing with the Stars community who have served time on the judges' panels. Hough also has 6 Mirrorball trophies. Ballas has 3. Saying this hasn't been done on the show before in 33 seasons, which is actually kind of crazy if you think about it, said Hough of two men dancing together. And we were like, you know what? It feels like it's the right time. It helped that Hough and Ballas' decision to perform on the telecast also provided a news you can use moment for the show's most ardent fans. Before their performance in the finale, the men explained how the Argentine tango began as a dance between working class men in 19th century South America, which is what I was saying. Like, I have seen many a times when I watch a lot of dance videos and stuff, which I do. If you know the history, men, there is in a lot of European countries, especially when it comes to Argentine tango, you see more man on man than anything. So it's not something to kind of like, it's not something that is looked down upon in other countries. It's only in America, with people's lack of education on culture and history, that they would automatically equate it with gay or whatever. But if you want to keep a show like Dance with the Stars going, in a way, you have to kind of like embrace a lot of the different, you have to be able to grow with the times. You got to embrace different cultures and bring that up into the show to keep it going. Because quiet as it's kept, I've been finding Dance with the Stars be kind of boring, especially with a lot of these celebrities that be coming up there with 2 left feet. But I do like to watch the actual professional dancers, when they getting up there and performing. So it said that now, they said back in those days, the men far outnumbered the women, so the Argentine tango was a way for the men to foster community, but also to impress the ladies, explained Hough in the Dancing with the Stars finale. Hough and Ballas took turns leading the dance. People often say the man is the leader and the female is the follower, Hough tells Deadline. The truth is, when you're dancing, you're constantly switching between leader and follower, no matter what gender. It doesn't really matter. Even in this dance, with us being 2 males, we switched often. Now, Bella's work also believes that the performance on Dancing with the Stars hit harder because they kept the focus on the footwork and the authenticity of the dance. There was no need for flashy show-stopping moves during their 90-second performance. It was Ballas' idea to keep the pants of their double-breasted pantsuits baggy to create movement and to make their frames that much more appealing to watch. We thought those kind of tricks of making it slick and fast and more about power and speed would be more effective than one of us throwing the other in the air and spinning around a few times. You know what I mean? Said Ballas, saying it was enough just to avoid hurting one another with these constant leg locks. That's what I love so much about this style of dance. It also makes for accidents. If you're not precise and your timing is incorrect, you're going to get a foot to the shin or to the private. Oh yeah, that is true. Because when they do a lot of the Argentine tango, it is a lot of leg movements in between people's legs and like lower and higher. So when you watch a lot of that, it's like, yeah, you might hit me in the nuts. I can't react, so I gotta act like it doesn't hurt. Or you can hit the front part of your shoe on my damn shin. That bone definitely be hurting. And this is what Hough was saying. And so it says, it's painful, so it's important that the timing is right and you're both on the same page. Now, Hough and Ballas' Tango partnership isn't quite over yet. They will perform the routine again this Saturday, which already passed because I told her I've been sitting on this story for about a week. During Hough's show at Inglewood's YouTube Theater, their November 26th performance could also garner an Emmy nomination next year, which could give Hough his 14th in the choreography category. Ballas has won from 2011. Now, the ultimate prize, however, would be to evoke change on Dancing with the Stars, saying, "It's funny." I actually have a few friends who have been approached to be on the show, and they've actually said, "Well, I don't want to do it until I can dance with another guy." Hough tells Deadline, "We wanted to be able to introduce this concept in a way that if there's anybody out there who might feel a certain way about it, we're like, hey, check this out." I think that it opens up a lot of opportunities and doors for the show to have that. And you're going to get the insults. Oh, they're trying to create an agenda. Oh, it's an agenda. They're trying to push the gay agenda. All that dumb shit. And it's like, what agenda? Like, we just told you the history of the Argentine tango and the fact that, yes, there is male on male dancing in a lot of cultures. So what are you talking about? Now, if you feel in a kind of way where it's got you questioning your sexuality, that's something you got to deal with between you and your therapist, or depending on the situation, you and your priest. So I don't even know ways tired about it, but I do feel like if they did welcome any kind of same-sex performances on the show, and even if they like when we were talking about the previous segment with Tayce and her partner, if they incorporated more drag performers to come up on Dancing with the Stars and actually get up there and do their routines or whatever, I'm open for that too. It is time for a lot of these long-winded or long on the tooth shows to progress a little bit and open the window from different opportunities and bring different things in, because the same old thing that y'all been doing for 33 seasons, the show was getting a little bit stale. So time to shake things up a little bit. And, as somebody who likes Derek Hough and Mark Ballas and what they're doing over there, I would definitely hope that they usher this door open for some change. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Mark and Derek Hough and what they had to say about bringing change by leaving the door open for having male on male dance partnership performances on future seasons of Dancing with the Stars? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so it looks like we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm going to be busy pretty much this weekend, probably this next couple of days, because Fish, Lord pray for me, are about to do 4 nights straight at Madison Square Garden. So it's gonna be a lot of people with their drugs in the damn bombs doing Lord knows what they doing. So pray for me that I don't come out an addict when I'm done with these shows. But so I'm gonna be busy with that this weekend, and I know we got New Year's coming up and a lot of other stuff. So I'm gonna try to give you all a show on Monday. Hopefully there'll be some interesting topics that comes out in the next couple of days. If not, I want to wish y'all all a happy new year, but I'm going to try to see if I can come on Monday and give y'all a show, because, yeah, we do need to do, like, the top lists and all the other stuff of things as our year comes to a close. So I'll probably come on if there's nothing going on, just we focus on doing a lot of those with my favorite things of the year, most anticipated, all that stuff, because we did the music, now we got to do the movies and things. So, yeah. Wait, hold on, because I got a comment. Oh, Robert said, see you later. See you later. So yeah, definitely hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash that notification bell if you have not already, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll talk to you guys later, and until next time, ciao, darlings.